you don't know, you must be under a rock. 8-time Russian chess champion, 8 times. How do you win that title 8 times? And a
Well,
commentator
you played for about
extraordinaire.
30.
Well, Peter,
That's
thank you so much. Welcome to the show.
I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to share it with you, Maurice. We don't see each other nearly enough, I have to say. So
We used to do
this is very good for
commentating
me.
together a lot more, but since I
Yeah.
haven't been doing as much commentating, I haven't been able to see you. It's a distinct pleasure to be able to do it with you now.
And yeah, this is going to be a very fun event because on top of its charitable nature, it's also hand and brain, which means that we're going to be seeing some uh, potentially very funky chess, and we're absolutely here for some funky chess.
I'm definitely here for the funk. And give it up for that for sure. We've got a lot of teams. We actually have 6 teams, and they comprise a business leader, someone who is interested in helping, maybe leading a charity, and one of these very talented young players. We're going to try to make sure we give coverage to everyone. Let's just first note that it is 5 rounds, preliminary part of the tournament. And
Mm-hmm.
then the top 4 will move on to the semifinals and then on to the finals. Let's jump into a game, Peter, because the games actually have begun. I'm going to pull up a game on my screen, and
Yeah,
this one.
and this is what I mean by my perhaps slightly strange introduction. For those of our viewers who are unaware how hand and brain works, the person who is the brain nominates a piece, but cannot tell the player actually making the moves which of, let's say, the 2 knights or the 8 pawns is supposed to go where, and then the person actually operating the board makes a choice based on that one crucial bit of information that he or she was given, and that will lead to some mayhem. And already here we see that White made a bit of an unusual punt on move 4 and is currently a pawn down. But who's counting? I mean, it's the
Yeah.
little guys, as our mutual friend Nick DeFermin used to say. Those little
Well, the
guys.
reality is the kids usually know better than the adults in this one,
Mm,
I have to tell you.
yeah, yeah,
And
that
they
is.
suggest some moves. They'd rather something else happen, but the adults have a way of
Yeah.
going off on their own. And we see here, as you mentioned, Black is already ahead by a pawn.
But I mean, kids knowing better than adults is, I think, a general theme that you can apply to a lot of things these days.
That is,
Adults really not covering themselves in glory in the past few years, I want to say. I'm
I
very
would
much
agree.
I'm very much team kids in that respect.
So we have a position here that I would say, well, first of all, we should note who is playing. And
Mm,
the team, My Chess Foundation, I believe I have them. I know Team Chess in Slums is led by,
mm.
or at least one of the participants is Tunde Onayoka, who we all know has been doing some amazing work around Africa, particularly in Nigeria, where he is from. But he is just world renowned
Yes.
now for the incredible work that he does, bringing chess to kids in slums. He also has a Guinness World Record of playing, I believe it was 60 plus hours in
Yeah, I
Times
was
Square without sleeping. That's absolutely a stunning thing for somebody to do.
I don't really know how people do that. I saw those it made worldwide news, and I saw those news items, and I tried to kind of map it onto myself, and I thought, no, 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 just no. I am not subjecting myself to anything remotely like that because I can't function without sleep. But
Yeah, not
it's
even
all in a
16 hours, huh? Like 16 hours of chess. Try 24 hours of chess seems insane. Let me just point out uh, that Team My Chess Foundation is led by Toby Oluwafemi, and he is the founder of My Chess Foundation, big passion for the game. He's playing with Abigail Obonyo of Kenya, who has
mm,
represented Kenya in a few international events, a 1600 FIDE player, so a decent player. I neglected to point out that Tunde is playing with Yvonne Mwashe, who is from Kenya, represented Kenya in the Africa Youth Chess Championships in Ghana. the under-17 national champ in
Mm.
2023 and was joint first in the Africa Youth Chess Championship in the under-14 in 2022. So these are the teams that are playing. At the moment, Chess and Slums is doing quite well, as
Yeah.
we can see. It's clear they have
Yeah.
maintained their extra pawn, and it doesn't look as though White's going to have a real easy time of getting that pawn back, Peter, because Bishop C6 is just going to
Yeah.
lock that pawn up, and that's going to be that.
Yeah. Unless something very dramatic happens, Black is going to be in control here. Obviously, I don't know how much experience you yourself have in playing these hand and brain things. I played a few in my life. They rarely go exactly as planned. Let's put it like this. So it's not necessarily going to be plain sailing from here, but yes, of course, Black is sort of firmly in control right now. White isn't even trying to win that pawn back because it doesn't feel realistic. I wouldn't hate this bishop trade offered by White. It kind of creates additional weaknesses, but the bishop on c5 that we just traded off the board was very, very strong. So in general, I'm on board with the idea of getting that bishop pair off the board.
I will say that I have played hand and brain. My most dramatic hand and brain I've ever played. Well, actually, yeah, the most high level hand and brain I ever played was recently in freestyle chess, where I happened to play on Team Fabi against Team Magnus and Tanya Sachdev, and we famously lost both games. So that wasn't too much fun. But the most fun one I've ever played is a game I had where on my Twitch stream, when I was streaming, I played with Neil deGrasse Tyson, the famous astrophysicist. And Neil isn't exactly, let's just say, a seasoned chess player. You would have expected more from him. And when we were in time pressure, we were playing against like a 10-year-old girl from St. Louis, and we were winning, but we were in a severe time pressure. And under heavy time pressure, Neil shouted out a piece, I think it was a bishop, for me to move when there was no bishop on the board.
That is a problem, yeah.
And we're in heavy time pressure, by the way. We ended up flagging eventually, but thankfully we got a chance to take away all our material, so the game ended in a draw. But yeah, hand and brain has definitely its adventures.
Yeah, your hand and brain experiences are significantly more glamorous than mine. I used to do them in like as part of our Banter Blitz sessions with Gusti and so on, and you are doing it with Neil deGrasse Tyson. So yeah, I still have some way to go before I get to your level.
Oh, I'm definitely not at your level, my friend. Let us take a look then. Let's go around a bit, spread the wealth, as this game seems to be firmly in Black's favor. We might come back to it as the games proceed, but let's take a look at the big board. I think I can just go back here and take a look. And there's some games that are far more solid. Let's take a look at the game here. I see James Altucher, who is well known in financial circles, famously mentioned that Bitcoin would soar, and indeed it has. I think he was touting Bitcoin when it was around 8,000. And boy, if you listen to James back then, you'd be doing quite well today. But he is playing with Genevieve Mashao, who is 15 years old as well, from Kenya, second place in the Kenya National Youth and Cadet Under 12 in 2021, and the Kenya Under 14 Girls Champion in 2022. Many more local achievements as well. Trying to establish who they're playing against. It says Chess2Change, but I don't have the obvious pairing in front of me. I'll try to get that research for us. But this one looks super uber solid, if you will, Peter.
I mean, there was yet this has began its life as a bit of a Trompovsky, but has since became very Slav-like in structure, and very, very normal kind of solid, no blunders, no dramatic changes. So far, very decent game by both players. I would, if we want a nitpick, I would probably not play c4, c5 there, because now Black can play b6, and the structure will get somewhat spoiled, but not a huge mistake by any means. Very solid play by both sides. And
it's easy to talk about. It's easy to talk about breaking pawn breaks, as you mentioned, Peter. Of course, as grandmasters, we know pawn breaks from when we were little. Like you want to break open the position, crack the structure. We see c4 being played there. Certainly, white knows you want to be able to play from moves like this. Although I'm not sure about its efficacy in this position, but not all the time will youngsters be able to spot those kind of ideas. And you see like knight f6 instead of, we see the knights maneuvering to wonderful central squares, but not really playing for the b6 break, which really catches our eye.
Yeah, I would have played b6 there in a heartbeat, but yeah, I understand the idea. The knight on d7 looked a little bit passive. It's now on a very beautiful square, but allowing white, giving white the time to play c3, c4, and I am very happy to see white immediately spotting the opportunity and using the opportunity to play c3, c4. And now I guess if we take on d5 and then play something like queen b3, queen a4 is not great. Yeah, that's the vagaries of Hand and Brain, because queen was nominated, should have gone to b3. It went one square too far, and now disaster really struck because it can't actually get back. The bishop on e2 gets picked up. We have no squares to protect it anymore. The knight on e2 might actually get caught though. It's maybe not, what? I mean, it's bad, but it's maybe not as bad as it could be in some other scenarios, because it doesn't really have an easy way back.
Well, but the thing is, you've got to imagine now the feeling of the adult in this game thinking, why did I put my queen on a4?
Yeah,
and also
that was not
the
great,
teammate who played queen, who wanted queen b3 most likely, and now has to deal with the fact that I just got forked. How do I solve this problem? Like, yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, you don't really. This is not under normal circumstances, this is not a problem you can solve. But once again, I think James is a very reasonable chess player. So
oh yes, he's been over 2200 as a matter of fact.
Yeah, advantage
he doesn't
black
have the practice recently, but he's been over 2200. So
yeah.
But by the way, he has to follow, a 1500 telling him what to move. So he is taking advantage with the knight going to the c3 square, and them the team spotting that. Now it's a question of, can white somehow cook things up and try to fight back here? It does not look likely. I mean, the good news, as you mentioned, the knight is not coming out easily. All the business
not easily, yeah. If you play something like bishop e4 followed by queen f6, you can switch to trying to give mate on the king side, and while the knight, we're not even trying to protect the knight, we're trying to create threats against the white king side while white is trying to corral the knight somehow. But these are somewhat high-level concepts. So what could happen instead is that black decides, okay, I can't actually save this piece, and black just takes with the knight on d4 to sell it slightly more dearly. And then black will be much better, but not winning as such, and the game will very much continue.
I find that fascinating about chess, Peter. The kind of transitions that can take place in the chess game. You feel you're winning a piece, and suddenly you look at the board, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not really keeping this piece. How do I handle this new setting? And it's not something you would normally see in a book that says, if you win a piece and your piece gets trapped, you've got to figure out how to switch to a kingside attack, or somehow sacrificing yourself back, or what. Like, it sort of comes with experience that you know what you ought to do in settings like this.
And obviously, this is also a blitz game, which means that people will have to make decisions somewhat on the fly. And there you see the move b7, b6, which we mentioned earlier. It remains a good, solid kind of positional move. But now, if we attack the knight with the rook, pretty much any rook really, we will actually win it back. I don't really like c takes b6, because now after a takes b6, now the knight probably escapes, because we have an additional resource of playing rook a3, giving ourselves the c3 square for the knight. So c takes b6 was a bit of a miss here by the players playing the white pieces.
And pawn was suggested maybe a4 to try to avoid the rook a3 move. Maybe, but it has not occurred. Instead, pawn takes, and I'm not sure if pawn will be set again on the next move, trying to insist on this
Yeah.
idea, and maybe white will get the memo because black has realized, but I don't think it matters now because something can come to
Yeah.
this square, and there are going to be challenges keeping
Now
these
that
out. So I
the
think
position
now it's
the position
busted.
is a lot more open, and yeah, the knight. If black decides to save the knight, black will now save the knight very, very easily. It just escapes via one of the methods Maurice mentioned.
There
Anything
is
else?
actually,
Go on.
sorry, Peter, there was actually a queen b2 idea,
But then bishop d3, and
right? And then bishop
we're
d3,
still
knight
preserving it a little.
e5.
Bishop jumps back to
Bishop
a6, I
jumps
guess.
back and is fine. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this looks like, oh, whoa,
Whoa.
whoa. Why?
Whoa.
Why, oh, why? And I'm sure knight takes pawn was probably the intent. If you're going to take, this game has taken an absolutely dramatic turn. Why not at least get something for your
Mm,
knight? That
yeah.
seemed extraordinarily odd to do. And this is what you're going to see, ups and downs, the vagaries of hand and brain and of blitz. And look at the clock times, 105 to 110. I believe it's a 2 or 3 second increment.
Yeah.
Um, we
White
we
is
will.
white is sort of more or less okay now. Yes, black has a very beautiful e4 square for the bishop. You still probably prefer black, but it's now a whole new ball game.
It's not what it was, that's for sure. Now the
Mm,
question is, can white reset and play quickly? Because now you see the
mm.
time ticking down very, very fast. We'd love to jump to another game, but I think the drama of this one is keeping us transfixed. So, as you said, white is more or less okay. You think you have some fighting chances. Will white be able to survive though with the time pressure?
Yeah. Black needs not to blunder that fork with knight c6, but I assume like most reasonable moves here don't blunder the fork. So yeah,
Queen
one of them
b6
was
played.
chosen. This is a very solid move. We also threatened to kick the knight away with f7, f6, and maybe pick up the pawn on g3. That pawn moves. Yeah, these are not the best choices by white because we are kind of forcing black to occupy better squares. By most of black's pieces have actually been improved in the past couple of moves. But
Activity
yeah.
for the rook. Open file is always good, and there's a rook c6 sighting possible, and maybe doubling and
Mm,
creating some energy for white. So that can't be complained against. They're both now under a minute, 23 seconds for white. You're gonna have to pick up the pace.
absolutely,
Quite,
yeah.
the increment it disappears quickly. And there we go. Queen back in only 19 seconds. And there's the knight fork spotted by white.
Queen h4 though.
But
If
queen h4 is a fantastic move, threatening mate.
yeah, if James spots queen h4, mate might
Which he
actually get
does.
blundered. Yeah. If the white player says knight here, the game is over. So
Oh, it said knight, the worst of ways. Actually,
no, this is the
white
only move.
saw
Yeah,
the
yeah,
mistake. It was the only move.
yeah. Yeah, I think maybe the white player realized that the mate into is coming and stopped it the only way they could by playing 97 check. But now, of course, the game should be lost, barring some time-related miracle.
Yes, justice somehow served for black in the end. 20 seconds left for white. It is a 5 second increment, and I'm noting now, and an extra piece. This should be completely over and back to that idea of taking on h3, not quite mate anymore, with the queen sitting on b2, guarding that square, king moving, making sure there's no threat over there. And now the queen coming in again, threatening this pawn
Yeah,
with check.
and James absolutely got the memo about playing quicker. Moves are now coming
Yes,
at a much faster frequency.
both sides realizing the time
Mm,
issue for sure. Somehow, black's rooks need to be activated. I would put a rook on a3 if I had a
mm.
chance, by the way, and use this entire rank as a jumping off point for the rook. But queen f4 check, and now a repetition of
Hang on a second.
moves.
Hang on a second. Don't repeat anymore.
Yeah, no, please don't repeat. He's not going to
Oh,
repeat. Like,
yeah, very nicely done by James because he realized that maybe his brain is asking him to play queen f4 check, but he knows better.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness! And
and
now
now you can,
look,
well, you can
you
go
can
back to
live.
this because yeah, the position changed. Very
Okay,
good.
all
Yeah,
right.
very good.
Thankfully,
No,
they said pawn or recognize you're
mm,
up a piece. No need to panic here. Convert this position. White still, I'm going to say, has a puncher's chance, especially with all this repetition of moves going.
mm.
Rook F1 would be nice to play. Queen to
I,
F2.
I really like this by James, by the way. He's taking away the option of giving any more checks. He just says
But Queen F2 was a better move than trading queens.
it
Why go
was,
into
yeah.
an endgame?
It absolutely was. It should have been played, yes. Yeah.
Now it's just completely
Now
over. Okay, this one.
If Black says pawn here and Black did say pawn, this game is fairly over.
Yeah, no, this one we can leave alone now. Before there was
I
still some
think.
drama. Queen
Yeah.
F2 was the last bit of drama we could think of. Here we just play B2 and the
B2. Come
whole.
on, pawn. I
Come
have a
on,
feeling
say
it's rook
pawn.
though. I have a feeling it's rook, unfortunately, but
Yeah,
obviously
Rook
rook
A2
moves.
would work as well. Oh, look
No,
at
it is
that.
pawn.
Well
Excellent.
found.
Excellent.
Nice. Very nice. Both
Nicely
rooks
done
under
by.
attack. This is hopeless. I would play rook takes on C3
Yeah,
here
you can be
for
greedy. Yeah,
sure.
if you want, you can be greedy. It's but yeah, I mean, very nicely played by
Oh, they said
James.
rook and
Is
he didn't take.
yeah,
He
as they
didn't
used to
take.
say when I used to be a much more frequent Twitch viewer and a Twitch streamer, there used to be this expression: "This is not uh this is not a throw; it's extended BM." So what we're watching here is actually extended BM, not any kind of a mistake.
I would have taken on G2 there before going to collect that rook, but who's
Yeah, but
counting
yeah,
as
who's
this one
counting?
is
Yeah.
definitely completely busted. Let's assume Black will work that one out and go back to the big board, see if we can find any interesting games. It looks like
That's
other
actually the only
games
one running. Yeah.
are
Black
running,
has
so
mate
I'll come
into
back to it.
Black has mate into with checks, by the way. Very nice
Whoa, whoa,
geometric.
whoa. Watch out for the stalemates.
Yeah, let's not find any stalemates
Kind of
here.
hard to stalemate here.
King h5. Yeah, h3 is still alive. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
pawn, and then bishop. I guess is the way to go. To
I would
give,
play pawn and then pawn, thank you.
yeah, also good. Also
Still,
pretty good.
there's three mates possible, and pawn, I think. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What? What are you trying?
No,
What's he doing?
he's trying not to give stalemate. I kind of like rook d2 because if you keep the rook on the g5, three is still alive. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
pawn, and then bishop. I guess is the way to go. To
I would
give,
play pawn and then pawn, thank you.
yeah, also good. Also
Still,
pretty good.
there's three mates possible, and pawn, I think. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What? What are you trying?
No,
What's he doing?
he's trying not to give stalemate. I kind of like rook d2 because if you keep the rook on the g file, you know, some bad things could happen potentially.
It's hard for bad things to happen with that H pawn still on the board.
I
You got
would
to play
prefer
H4 and
I would prefer mate in one though.
mate in one
Let's
was kind of nice. Now White
let's
trying to figure out that stalemate.
let's
And
maybe
somehow White lost on time.
let's stop playing with our
Well,
food here.
thankfully that happened. I believe the games will start quickly, but let's get back to a couple of other results. I see what looks like mate on this board between the international team, it's the International English School, and Black did some major damage in this game.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to a moment. All was still in Black's favor here until Black played this move, allowing knight c5, and White
The bishop on e3 is sort of in trouble, but queen takes c8 is very difficult to explain. That seems unnecessary.
Okay, we gotta fire all the adults. Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
How
that
could you
seems
possibly play queen c8?
maybe White
Okay,
had
that's
very little time. I'm assuming, and
I don't care how little your time is. Queen c8 is not it.
yeah.
All right, the kids,
It's a
I'm sure
bit,
there are kids who are
panicky.
talking to
Yeah.
their adults right now and
Mm.
saying, what the heck? Because that didn't make any sense
And there was
whatsoever,
also a
that last one.
very nice grandmaster draw in the match between Conrad Community and Nambi C2C, where
Yeah,
they
we're not
found
looking at those.
where they found the repetition by move 15, which is very professional. I was incredibly impressed.
That's not going to get you into the finals, Peter. Definitely
Yeah.
not. We had a small error. Let's take a look at this one with the gift of chess. Has been doing great work against Dixon De, and
Yeah, and there was a
I
bit of a
came
gift
right at the
here.
moment. when you got to pick off not just a piece, but
Mm.
also a full rook
A lot
coming.
of material was gifted, yeah.
Yes. All right. Let's get back to other games as well. This one I looked at. Let me see.
Yeah, this is the
That was a
one, yeah.
GM draw. How did they repeat
It should be
this one?
5 knight a7, yeah. They found like a very plausible grandmaster draw as well. I can very easily imagine this happening in a strong tournament. I'm not gonna lie, you know.
All right. Well, we're gonna leave that one alone because I can't stand those GM draws. But that one we looked at. This one, black won,
White
but
just
we
lost
don't.
on time, I guess. Yeah, White lost on
But it
time on
was just
move
a time
25.
issue.
Yeah.
Black was much better, as we mentioned, but losing on time
Yeah, game still
doesn't
very
seem.
much continues unless you forget to move and the clock runs out.
I think we've looked at maybe all of them. Seems that
There's
way.
a King's Indian looking position down there. Yeah. The one you
This one
almost,
or
yeah.
this one?
No, the
We
one
did
in
look at
the,
this one.
no, the bottom left on your screen.
Bottom left. Okay, this one.
Yeah, very King's Indian-ish.
Again, a time issue, although
Hmm.
black was absolutely
Yeah, black is,
dominant
yeah, killing it here,
in
but
in this one. Crushing position with
hmm.
the queen in an aggressive square and problems on g3 and all the like. Fantastic bishop on this diagonal. Well, Peter, I think they're warming up. I'm going to say
Hmm.
trying to get themselves
Yeah.
ready and in shape for the next few rounds. They have 4 more rounds to go, and these kind of things, qualifiers, getting into semis and finals, those can be harrowing. I mean, you must have had tremendous experience in this. I mean, you have been in you've won one of the most harrowing tournaments I know, the World Cup, and
Yeah, that
that
was
one I can't imagine what nerves it took, Peter, and how did your nerves survive after you had won the tournament?
my I wouldn't say favorite because it's still one of the more traumatic experiences of my life, but I think the story I tell about how the World Cup works and like what the World Cup does to you is the story of the one I didn't win, the story of the one I lost in the final of in 2015, and uh, I'm not going to go into details of that final. That actually is too traumatic for me. But the story is uh, the closing ceremony was the next day after the very, very exciting, at least for some people, tiebreak that I played with Sergei Karyakin. And there's a picture from that closing ceremony where a local organizer proudly presents Sergei with his cup. And we're standing on each side of that organizer. And I just lost an unlosable match. So my expression is sort of understandable. I look like somebody just, ran over my cat while I was there watching it.
Mm,
But so is
mm.
Sergey. Sergey, who just won the World Cup, looks exactly the same. And this is sort of the point of the story because you play chess for a month, and by the end of it, it really kind of doesn't matter how it finished. You just have nothing left. You really kind of need to sleep for about a week straight.
Mm.
And that I thought was it was the cover of some chess magazines, and this is how I know of the existence of that picture. And that picture was like an absolute perfect illustration of what the chess World Cup is, if you go reasonably deep in it, because you play high stakes chess for pretty much a full month. Maybe it's like 27 days. It's very close to a full month. You play those very, very short matches, best of two, which often end in a draw, and then you play a full day of tie breaks. And the longer it goes, the more tired you are, and the more high stakes it becomes. so, uh, so yeah, that's a tournament you don't really forget in a hurry.
You you may not enjoy it, Peter, but we as fans do. I mean, we love it. We love watching the players suffer and
Yeah,
the
I know,
amazing epic comebacks and the
I
tie breaks that are
know,
crazy. And you don't even get rest for the next day after a tie break. You got to go into, as you said, even a
absolutely,
higher
yeah.
stakes match. Just
Mm.
one of my favorite tournaments to watch.
It is mine as well, and I've done historically I've done quite well in them, but they are harrowing. I think is a good word to describe your experience if you go deep. The good thing about them, though, is if you're not on top form, if you don't go deep, you're done. You don't have to prolong it. You know, if, sometimes, let's say you go play a fantastic tournament. I don't want to slander the good name of the Vaikanzea tournament. But if you choose to play Vike and you get there and you're in really poor form, that is not fun. That is like 3 weeks of intense misery because the tournament is very long. Your position is very strong. You don't really get very much in a way of rest days because everybody starts hunting you, and there's nowhere to go. You are there for the duration. You will play those 13 rounds, whether you want it or not. Whereas in the World Cup, you have a bad couple of days. At least you can go home and walk your dog and remind yourself that there are nicer things in life.
Always good to a good side to see. You can always make something seem like fun. As you said, when you're doing poorly in a chess tournament, we all know when you start off badly and you have no chance at the end, it is pure torture. Well, we are waiting for the new games to start. I'm a bit surprised that we haven't seen those games as yet. Let me refresh my screen just in case we've been yakking, but no, it still says round 1.
We have been.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take just a very quick break. I'm going to give it 30 seconds, maybe a minute. I'm going to give our producer a chance to jump in and let us know what's going on. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're at the Chess2Change Charity Chess Tournament, a wonderful event serving kids all around the continent of Africa and them chasing their dreams, being supported by business leaders who believe in them as well. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chess2Change Charity Chess Tournament. Forgive me there. I'm Maurice Ashley. I'm with the world-renowned Grandmaster Peter Svidler, and we are getting ready to start round 2 of this event. It is a hand and brain event. If you've just joined us, meaning that the kids are playing the brain and their older citizens, colleagues, teammates are playing the hand. We've seen some drama so far already, Peter. A couple of things that I'm sure the kids were thinking, why'd you do that for? I'm sure we'll see some more as this competition goes along. And let's just jump into one of the games, which I think is going to be a delicious matchup. Chess in Slums versus James Altucher's team, Tunde Onayoka versus James Altucher. This one, I think, is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, and James probably thinking, do I get to play white anytime soon? Why am I constantly playing black?
Well, look, black worked for you in the first game, so
but I do agree. That is very true.
I do agree that
very true.
It's unusual to see a pairing with 2 blacks in rounds 1 and 2.
But things do happen like this.
See that gets fixed soon.
Yeah, knight g7, slightly unusual in that position, but not a horrible mistake. You do probably want to play queen b6 instead, but the equilibrium hasn't really been shaken too much. Some structure changes can happen now. If black takes on d4, white probably should recapture, start by taking the knight with the bishop, leading to a structure which is quite familiar to those of us who have looked at the advanced French at some point in their lives. Yeah, this is a kind of a first critical moment, because if you say pawn, you will be playing a pawn down. So you should, if you want material balance, you should say bishop here.
Pawn.
Makes a lot of sense.
And pawn
pawn has been stated. In this one, we should expect to see a capture on d4.
No.
And we're hearing now, and there's that potential trick they might have thought would work if you had captured twice on d4, and it might have been a bishop b5 check winning the knight, except the knight is guarding that square, so that would not have been a problem. So now bishop has been said, and the capture taken on f5, and we see that white has come out of that no worse to wear.
Yeah, white is doing quite well. this is yeah, James is very much on point, instantly
Bishop.
playing bishop e6. Otherwise some trouble could have been in
Bishop.
store for black.
And we say James, but of course it's James and Genevieve, right?
Yes.
So
Bishop.
Genevieve is the one saying which piece moves. And
Well,
so
Genevieve,
kids are-
we know Genevieve is on point.
Knight.
we are in no doubt as to Genevieve's moves. We are perhaps somewhat unfairly slightly more worried about
Rook.
James's choices.
And one thing I want to point out with this team that I am very impressed by,
King.
it is clear, I think, with both teams that they have had a discussion about the clock. They don't want to get into time pressure. We've seen teams lose on the clock. They're in a rhythm. They're trying to move quickly, make sure that they don't waste time in the early stages of the game when you're going to need time for later. As we know, time pressure
Rook.
makes fools of us all. So this is good to see.
Yeah.
Right at this moment now, a little bit of a wait, but not much. And White still
Rook.
just letting the rest of the game be what decides it and not the clock.
Probably, yeah. You generally want to, the knight on c3 generally kind of needs to be on f4. Maybe needs is a bit strong, but kind of wants to be on f4. But this is maybe not the most obvious thing. If this structure is something you see maybe for the first time in your life, you might not be as familiar with where the pieces belong. Knight b5 d6, by the way, I only just realized that black isn't really stopping knight b5 d6. So that also is very much an idea you could entertain here. If you
indeed
want
my
Did you say
first
anything,
thought,
Ivan?
but before you
I see
mentioned
the Zoom
this,
meeting.
okay, there's a
can't
little
see
discussion
you.
we're
She can't
hearing.
see, yeah, we can't see
Okay,
your
sorry,
screen.
All right,
Yes,
there we
seems like
heard a
there's
little
some
discussion
Queen.
speaking to Yvonne, and Yvonne is the one who is playing with Tunde, and she has now said queen, so that's why they lost some time on the clock. So it looks like something happened there technically, unfortunately, that cost her some time on the clock, and now she is back in business. They did lose about 40, 50 seconds though for that exchange, that technical exchange. This is also one of the problems with playing online, right, Peter? These kind of things happen.
Knight.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and White is going for one of the plans that we were discussing. Definitely very sensible play by both sides. If you wanted to be nitpicky, you can absolutely find things to nitpick, but really very, very solid play so far.
I think most people watching this game right now who are not, let's call them super GMs like yourself, would think, I'd like to play a position like this. If I were White, especially, and maybe even as black, just looks more or less like a chess position. Although I just heard the pawn hanging on the a7 square, I guess, is the point to try to save this pawn.
You probably want to play queen d7. You don't particularly want to soften up your own queen side like this. Yeah, I'm guessing the rook trade will now happen, and then White is very much in control. Finding a way in, so to speak, is going to be the biggest issue because, giving up the open file should not go well for black. Now we should be.
I'm not impressed by.
No,
I'm not impressed by. Yeah, I think the trade was necessary, and here we see a very passive rook move, and instantly rook said by Yvonne, and here we go. Let's double on the file.
Yeah, Tunde is playing this very, very cleanly. And what you would like to do is to play knight c8 to try to get rid of that monster on d6. But there is a number of ways for White to not allow it comfortably for black. One thing you shouldn't do is trade.
Look, even understanding what you just said was very deep. The need to eject the knight on d6, play knight c8, and get things going. Very impressed by the youngsters spotting the positional difficulty and needing to resolve it. And now a trade of knights looks likely, which I think
that's a relief. Yeah, that's a relief for black. Yeah, that's absolutely. You're still going to be a little bit worse, but that obviously is a huge sigh of relief from James and Genevieve, because you can absolutely imagine black just being completely fine.
Bishop.
Yeah, bishop actually is a mistake because now after rook c1, you don't have a good reply to the threat of rook c6. But finding the move queen takes e8, giving up the pawn on b6, I think was challenging because you don't normally, when you have options, you don't very often kind of consider just giving up stuff. But now black
There's a
is
certain flow to this game, Peter. Like it is a blitz game. Inaccuracies get played, miss a couple of nuances,
absolutely.
but you do feel a logical flow. Good players. By the way, Tunde is a chess master himself. So we have two players who have hit 2200 who are playing with the youngsters. So we have a real chess going on here for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. But now, obviously, white is very much to be preferred. You can't really win any material immediately, I don't think. But black structure is full of holes. The rook can go to c5 and be there forever. It's also a fantastic square. It's also a fantastic square for the knight, maybe for the future. Black is going to be struggling here to defend a pretty unpleasant position.
Say though, Peter, this has really devolved into positional play. It's not like you pick off material immediately. Of course, you have the superior minor piece. You have the square. You have even the file potentially. But they say bad bishops defend good pawns. I'm not sure how good this pawn is, but I would say this is not one of those easy conversions. Maybe at the 2700 level, but not anywhere else.
And honestly, in particular, now that h4 was chosen over, let's say, h3, if James and Genevieve find the idea of playing h6, g5, this could become quite double-edged. And also, you could look at the idea of playing f5, f4, because that bishop on e6 does absolutely nothing currently. And giving it some squares could be something you perhaps are interested in. But blitz game, all of these things seem a bit kind of abstract. So
I agree.
Not surprised that it hasn't happened.
And look at this knight suggestion to try to trade off this bishop. I'm not sure that favors black, favors white at all to see that happen. Now offer of a trade on the line. And again, those dark squares are very weak. You can see all the dark squares in black's camp.
Yeah,
but again, pretty abstract. This weakness. We'll see what happens.
One thing I will say is we should not be trading this knight for this bishop unless it wins the game on the spot, basically. The one condition under which I am prepared to go knight takes e6 is if it wins a bunch of material immediately. So definitely not now.
I love the queen suggestion, understanding not to trade right now. So many kids just trade off pieces when they have a chance. And you see here that white is saying, no, I'm keeping my position. You trade, make my pieces better. I'm not going to trade and relieve the problem in your position.
And also creates a threat of knight takes e6, and then the rook will be hanging. The rooks are probably coming off. White should take with the queen, I'm guessing. And then it's rook e8 is
big decision.
Yeah.
Conceding the file unnecessarily. Maybe he was afraid a pawn might take and create a passer that has some force, but
maybe. Yeah, it's not great, but if we're honest with ourselves, the position wasn't great anyway. So
all right, but this is a tense one. They're down. Black has 144, is going to be counting on the clock as a benefit. Now the rook has landed on c7, and that rook looks like a mighty piece on that square. 115 on the clock to 135 for black. And I'm going to say this is white's game for sure, but it could be anybody's ball game if you start looking at the clock.
Yeah, with queen c6 coming in, if you play h7, h6 here, I think maybe actually taking that horrible bishop might be winning on the spot, because I have queen c6 and then queen d7 is a very, very strong threat, which is going to be very, very difficult to parry. Yeah. And queen c6
Will we
here.
Hear queen? Will we hear queen?
Queen.
Bam! There it is. And he was waiting. We was waiting on Sunday to hear the word queen. And now it is giant trouble with this threat coming in the position. To say this has been a very, it's not perfectly clean, but certainly a super logical,
Yeah,
consistent
I think
type
I
of
think
game.
I think pawn was nominated, and then queen d7 will just win the game on the spot. I think pawn is not great news here for Team Altuscher.
And it's sad because you can't even ditch a pawn to do anything with it. You just have to
Yeah,
move your pawn. It looks like black did overlook the threat. Black probably had to play king here and move the rook to defend, but that would have dropped this pawn. Actually, no, it doesn't drop this pawn. What would
well,
you have done after
sort
king
of does
h7?
after rook c6 there. Yeah, well
After
h5,
rook
but
c6, yeah, sure.
yeah, sorry,
And
Queen.
queen, and I got to tell you, man, Yvonne has been relentless
no,
with
this is a
the.
master class.
Yes, absolutely. She
This
has
is a
been
master class.
relentless with the white pieces. What a game.
Yeah, we occupied the one open file on the board, controlled it completely, kind of used it to get our pieces into the
Queen.
enemy's camp, and just won. Very nice game by
Queen.
Tunde and his young brain.
And I got to say, other than the
Pawn.
move knight takes knight on c8, which relieved
Some
black
pressure, yeah.
somewhat early in the game,
Mhm.
there are not a lot of moves you can
Queen.
criticize. That was, I mean, I'm not even sure which move you criticized
Yeah.
once they got out the opening. It
King.
just looked so impressive.
Yeah, just a very solid game by White.
Queen.
Queen h7,
And
I
White's
guess,
not,
is
yeah, queen h7 comes next, and then pawns start to drop. We're going to leave this
Rook.
one. It just has been a beautiful game. And by the way, black is also deep in time pressure right now with only 14
Queen.
seconds left. Black has over a minute and is just flowing move by move to victory. Just definitely a star game we'll keep in mind. Let's see if there are any
Pawn.
other games in progress as I go back to the big board. And it does seem as though we already have one decided game. Which game do you
Queen.
spot, Peter, that seems to be, well, all the games look like,
everything is either finished or completely winning for one of
yes.
the players. It seems there is nothing that immediately jumps out. Let's take a look at the gift of chess versus the corner chess community, because that looks like a picturesque final position. I want to know how they got there.
A lot going on
Second from
here.
or second on your right
Oh,
on the top
sorry.
row. Yeah.
Well, I have it up. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Queen.
All right. So this one.
Just to double check, did someone say a piece?
I can't hear
Are
anything.
there's
King.
some chatter going on, and King has come up. This is just a complete crush, a whitewash in this position.
Queen.
White is up.
It's
so
not
much.
often. Yeah. It's not often you see somebody being up this much material, which is why I wanted to bring it up on the board, because it's a very picturesque situation with black having no pawns in front of their king somehow.
The only thing to note is that time situation, though. We do see that 6 seconds and counting. Black has to hurry up and make a move. That leaves 9 seconds, but white has only 17 seconds as well. And now, though, it looks like you're going to get
Queen.
There's a queen, any queen move attacking that bishop.
Yeah, and this is
and
a good move. Yeah, queen
Knight.
h5 is very solid. Knight will be mate in one.
Yeah.
Queen.
Bang bang.
Well
And
played.
we came at a good time.
Success, yeah.
Play was
Good suggestion. We saw a
was if
finish.
you are good.
All right.
Good game.
What else might we see? We see here, this one that we saw earlier is going exactly as we suspected. A second queen ought to appear on the board. Maybe even mate should appear on the board technically, but why not get a second queen? And there's no stalemate possible. So that one is going to be finished. We go over here. We see an entire
White were queen up 3 moves ago.
Really?
There was a very dramatic turnaround.
This was the position. F6 of all moves and queen.
Oh dear.
You got to be kidding.
The kid,
oh man,
these
kids.
The kid might be a bit mad now. The kid might not be a happy camper anymore. I get
Who are these adults that what the heck? Queen takes F6?
Yeah, queen takes F6 should not be allowed.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I gotta talk to Pontus about these adults he's got playing, because seriously, the kids are trying to play chess and you hang your queen?
Yeah.
Come on, that's so unfair.
Yeah, the white team were playing such an exemplary game, and now look at what's going on.
Okay, that knight could have been chopped off. The clock
Yeah,
isn't
they
moving
could have
on
been,
us.
but it shouldn't really change too much. Yeah,
All
okay.
right, we got a mate. We got a mate on the
Now
board.
it
White.
won't. Yeah.
GG.
Yeah, that was really
luck.
quite sad, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
And
What a queen.
Yeah.
apologies there for that blunder. We do see the two queens. This game hasn't ended yet. There might be a third board coming.
Oh yeah, that's that
Alrighty,
reminds
let me
me.
just mark
I think they're going to lose
this
on time,
in
though.
the-
Yeah.
Hmm.
This was kind of cheeky. This
Okay.
move.
So we've
Let's go get
got
another queen if you won't
one
resign.
game left.
Pretty funny game there. And now we have this game, and Black is completely crushing as well. You know, it's kind of funny. The game we followed seemed like the one game
Was a very
where
good
everything
choice.
just
Yeah.
was beautiful. Was something you could see at a chess tournament somewhere. You know, there's got the Philadelphia International going on here in the U.S. And that game, I got to say, was quite impressive.
It was a very, very decent effort by both, honestly. White ending up with a potentially a crucial victory, because it does look like those two teams will probably be front runners to qualify for the semis. Might we? Okay, I'm actually sticking my neck out. They will play in the knockout phase.
I agree.
I get
agree.
that.
Those two
I
teams
still
are
think
great.
those two teams will qualify and should therefore have with a high likelihood meet again once the knockout phase starts.
I want to go back in this game because we're extolling the virtues of the game. This moment here was a finger fella, if you will, because bishop takes knight should have been played right now. And then here, knight takes pawn is perfectly fine. You can just grab here. The worry
there's
is
some
somehow,
compensation, I guess.
you lose a piece somehow with this, but knight c6 comes back.
Yeah.
And the typical threat is bishop b5 check, but you yourself are the one who loses a piece. So that did concern Black to not take that pawn and instead suggest the bishop move. And then White quickly fixed it. And this would have been the position we sort of would have had more or less if the game had gone on in this way. While Black would have been up a tempo because bishop would have landed on e6 in one move. But then we saw some things happen, some trades and normal development. The knight landed on a square. We expected more of a trade there and then a challenge of the knight. And it was really here that White went into positional mode and started showing not perfect technique necessarily, but really good play.
Very clean. Honestly, very clean.
I mean, really impressive. And the early death by Black, to be sure, but very, very impressive game played. We hope to see more of this from the youngsters, as that was Ivan Mwashe with the white pieces. Feed rate of only 1559. What are they feeding these kids, Peter?
Not for long. On this evidence, not for long.
Quite impressive there. All right. Well, we are going to prepare for the next game as we see all the results are in. I see the standings. Let's take a look at the standings. We see 3 perfect scores at the moment. The gift of chess has 2 points. Business meets chess kids has 2, and chess and slums, the game we just saw, also at 2. No one at 1.5, as James Altucher's team is leading a pack of 5 that also is sitting at 1 point. But we have 3 rounds to go here in the preliminary qualifying stage before we get to the semifinals and then the finals. By the way, if you are kind enough and wish and are able to and wish to donate, you can go to !donate in the chat. I believe there's another one, but the one I remember is
!charity,
donate.
I think also works.
!charity is the other one. Thank you, Peter. !charity or !donate. No gift is too small. These are kids with lots of hopes and dreams. You see how well they play chess. They're working with business leaders who are helping them as well. This is a fabulous charity by my dear friend Pontus Carlson, who works tirelessly to bring businesses together with these kids who he knows and you can clearly see have wonderful potential, work hard at their chess, but may not have the leg up in life that some of us have been fortunate enough to have. And so anything you can give is very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Peter, I think we'll take a quick break again as they prepare the pairings. Again, folks, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, a little bit longer as we catch our bearings. But we're going to be right back with the Chess2Change charity chess tournament. And in a moment, we will return. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chess2Change charity chess tournament. So far, we've had 2 rounds down. We've seen in the last game some really sweet chess, great technique, crushing victories, but we've also seen some enormous blunders in this hand and brain competition. You'll see that happen quite often. But already we see top teams facing off against each other. 2 of the leaders, the gift of chess and Business Meets Chess Kids, they both have perfect scores, and they will be playing in this round. And we will definitely want to take a look at that game. The kids are going into their breakout rooms, and it takes a little while for all to basically herd the cattle, if you will, but they are underway. And we can jump to that game with 2 of the co-leaders. The gift of chess is captained by Mahmoud Rushdi, who is a chess trainer and player from Egypt. He's also an ambassador of the gift of chess to Egypt. And he's playing with Vava Blessing. Vava is from Nigeria, learned how to play chess at 8-11, and has represented Chess in Slums in an inter-school tournament and actually won a medal there. Vava is 14 years old. Now, on the that's the Business Meets Chess Kids side. Oh, sorry, that was the gift of chess side.
Yeah,
the Business Meets Chess Kids is Arvin Rosti, who is a Swedish chess player, FIDE master with a rating of 2195, quite a strong player. And his teammate is Jamie Nicole Bukes, who is from Namibia, 1727 rating. This is a deadly combo, this team. Very high rating average, I would say. And she's been playing chess alongside her brother. She has a WCM title. It has been that way for a while. Plays second in the African Individual Chess Championships and has represented Namibia twice in the Olympiad. So a very experienced player here. I'm going to say this team's making it to the semifinals, Peter.
Looks like it, although they did miss an important opportunity just a few moments ago on move 6. They could have won a full piece by a very typical combo. Knight c3 here is a bit of a mistake. And if black takes on b5, gives a check on a5 and plays d5, d4, that actually is a full piece you could pick up. But that wasn't spotted by team Business Meets Chess.
Definitely a big miss of a typical tactic. Instead, we saw the move a6 get played.
A logical move. It's just that there's a much stronger thing available, which is why it's not that great. And now,
yes,
it's a very intricate moment, actually, if we want to talk about the chess details of this position, because the question becomes, how do you want to develop your pieces?
Bishop.
And bishop e7 is a very logical move. It's the first move that occurred to me, but it maybe gives white a pleasant position, and there were maybe some slightly better options. But honestly, apart from that one moment where black had
Bishop.
maybe a game-defining opportunity missed, very solid play so far. Bishop e7 played. White nominated a bishop in response, so we got a bishop trade. This now is very, very comfortable for black, I think, because that forced operation that white undertook to trade those bishops on e7 just developed the final undeveloped piece for black. And black is very grateful for that courtesy.
All right, we'll come back to this one then. It looks very solid. We'll see it in a few moves. Let's go back to the big board, and let's go to Chess in Slums, who's also leading as well. We saw them play a wonderful game just now, and man, I'm seeing a lot of Frenches.
Nice.
But that actually, that's exactly the same variation of the French. But Chess in Slums is extremely versatile, apparently, playing it with both colors. That is very impressive. Considering how
it happen on a lot of boards.
Yeah, considering how generally unpopular the French as an opening, before I get shouted at by all of my French friends, considering how unpopular the French is as an opening.
I'm sure Maxime Vachier-Lagrave would agree with you about the French.
as an opening.
For both points, by the way.
Oh, possibly, who knows? Maxime has some interesting opinions on things.
Yes.
What you want to do in these types of positions, once again, if we want to talk about the actual chess for a second, the knight on g6 very much asks to be kicked away by g3, h4, h5. And I want to do it as soon as possible because I do not want to give black an option to trade it away by playing knight h4 themselves. So I would have played a g3 on the previous move. I would also very much play g3 here. But yeah, white has other ideas. As for black, you do want to play knight a5. The opportunity to play that move was missed on a previous move. It should be played at some point because you want it on c4. It's so much better on c4 than it is currently on c6. It actually does.
And by the way, part of the problem with the French is the space, right? The space that white has. And white has this great space. So trading with knight h4 or trading or looking to unleash your powers with knight a5, those are two moves. Knight on the rim is supposed to be not far from dim, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And in this case, the move was played.
It is correct here, yeah. Also now, white does have to deal with the fact that a very unpleasant fork on b3 is being threatened. I'm sure it will not get blundered, but you still have to waste some time solving that problem. I'm guessing.
Rich position indeed. And I would say not bad for black at the moment. It's
not anymore. Not anymore, but, yeah. McDizzy in chat is asking us if somebody played the Bong Cloud yet. People are taking this very, very seriously, McDizzy. I'm not expecting to see any Bong Clouds.
No, not at all. Not at all. These are FIDE rated players knowing their opponents are quite tough.
If we're honest with ourselves, Maurice, though, so are some of the people who played the Bong Cloud.
This is true. This is true. Yes, we've seen some silliness at various levels before. All right. Well, black has now posted a knight on a fantastic square on c4 and definitely doesn't feel worse in any way. This would be anymore, what a French player, a player playing the French, as opposed to a French player, even a French player playing the French, would say, this is what I was looking for. Like, this is the kind of position we want. A fantastic knight. You can't kick it out with the move b3 unless you calculate knight a3 to be something you're willing to accept. And now white with no initiative also to speak of, that g3 h4 idea, which would have been quite nice, not so fast, as black has taken over the initiative, already a threat to the b2 pawn.
Absolutely. And it actually gets kind of awkward because the move you probably actually need to make is the move rook c1 c2, but it looks very sad. You know, your bishop on b1 will not be thanking you for putting stuff in front of it. But there really aren't any good. I think we should any good other options. This is a bit of an instructive moment because experienced French players would probably take to the other pawn actually. Yeah. Because your king is much safer if you open the f file for your rook, and you also want to play h7, h6, denying the g5 square for the white pieces. But this is sort of advanced French. I mean, it's an advanced French in terms of the opening that we're playing, but also you are absolutely being taught to capture towards the center. And then maybe you have to slightly unlearn it in certain positions for reasons which aren't immediately obvious. And therefore, I'm not criticizing h takes g. I think it's perfectly fine. I just wanted, perhaps because we're trying to be slightly educational as well, I wanted to mention that in this particular structure, people often take with the f-pawn because it makes your king side much, much safer long-term.
Well, it's a big point because strong players know when to divert from the principles. They're not rules. Rules are things you can't avoid, like pawn takes pawn. You have to take pawns capture diagonally, and when you're in check, you've got to move your king or do something about the check. But these are principles. Capturing toward the center is a principle, and sometimes you got to break the principle, as you mentioned, because of other factors. Here, capturing toward the center was done, and now rook to b1 and bishop back. Now that's an interesting maneuver where that bishop is going.
Well, I mean, bishop was nominated, and then bishop d8 was chosen by Tunde. I think maybe Tunde's partner was maybe wanted bishop b5 or something. I don't think bishop d8 was the intention, if we're honest with ourselves.
No, I would think not. Anyway, we see this rook move, and now knight trade. This is a
I do
move
not like knight takes
you couldn't have
e3.
paid me money to do. What?
Pawn.
Yeah,
Gorgeous knight on c4.
And I say this as somebody who absolutely loves bishops against knights, but not in the case of this knight and this bishop.
All time, Hans.
That
I wonder
hurts
if
my
you could have
feeling.
retreated the knight
Okay,
and done better. Knight back. But it would have been such of a loss of a tempo. But yeah, suggesting knight at all was definitely a mistake on the part of the youngster. And now b4.
Yeah, b4 is we're playing on the wrong half of the board. What you should do, in particular, now that black has taken h takes g6, is you want to play g3, h4, king g2, rook h1, and h5. You actually are still very much playing for mate here. There is nothing that interests white on the queen side at all. White's play is absolutely on the other side of the board, and this, I feel, is, once again, I'm sure the kid wanted h4 or g3, but the adult is still kind of looking at the queen side and trying to do things on the queen side. And yeah, this just gives up space, gives black a very beautiful square on c4 for the rook, gives black an option to open the queen side with a6, a5, perhaps in the future. Yeah, in the space of the last 3 moves, this has gone very badly off the rails for white.
I'm going to tell you, Yvonne is playing. Okay, she did play knight takes e3. That was a bad suggestion, I must say. But otherwise, man, when she gets going, her style is just so smooth. It's just
yeah, I like
it's almost
I like what I see.
Smyslov in its okay, maybe I'm shooting high, but still,
slightly overstating things, but we are allowed. Yeah, we are very much allowed.
Absolutely. But I've been very impressed by the way she understands to put her pieces on good squares and the kind of things she needs to get executed. And that is simply happening move after move after move, with some mistakes here and there. Of course, you would expect it, even from master level players, you'd expect it. But here you're definitely seeing wonderful play on the part of black. This team is going to be dangerous as this goes on. We see a couple of moves get played. Classical advantage, by the way, the 2 bishops against the 2 knights.
Yeah, but even this position, I want to say, if I could play b4, b2 here, it would maybe be defensible, you know? But now that it's on b4, at some point, black will find the move a6, a5, and our entire queen side will start crumbling. It really is like white's problems very much stem from this one moment in the game where we just kind of forgot which side of the board we were supposed to play on.
Bishop.
Yep. Pawns do not go backwards. And unfortunately, this pawn belonged back here on the b2 square. As you mentioned, h4 would have been a nice plan. Still, I'm going to say, as much as you're pointing out the idea of the a5 break, which is definitely the thing that needs to be done, I still see some technical execution needed here. I feel like it's clear that black is better, but on a good day, maybe white sheds the pawns on this side and just goes for it on the other side, brings the knight over and king up, and
launches says, something. You
know, just let me see you defend mate. I mean, it's not always that easy.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but it would have been much better if we didn't commit to that.
Well, let's wait
to
for
that weakness
move.
on the queen side to begin with.
Wait.
Okay,
95.
Pre-move.
You should have started by taking on c1. This is a massive improvement in fortunes for white.
Knight.
Well, now white is just completely fine. Yes, the knight on c1 will look very stupid, but I'm guessing we're in time after knight takes and bishop c4. We're in time to play f3, king f2, king e3, and actually reanimate it via either the d3 square or the e2 square. Black panicked for no real reason there. You did not have to.
Let's just go back momentarily here. Knight g5 was played. Now, if somebody says losing bishop.
No, if you say bishop, you still probably should play something like bishop d8, but what is actually winning by force here is very difficult to find. It's very hard to blame black for not finding it.
Because you got to
Because-
trade on C1 somehow and then put a queen.
and then
in there, right?
allow queen takes f7.
King.
The engine
Mm.
actually allows queen takes f7, which is something that never happens. Like, I'm not finding it myself in a blitz game.
Yeah, this line is the line you're talking about, something
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah, queen
and allowing
c3.
this check, and then you
It's just one check, and then we pick up a
yeah,
lot of
because there's no
material.
queen e8 thanks to this
Mhm.
bishop,
Yeah,
and then
but
we've got
yeah.
our own things going.
But we're not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not finding this.
That's
in a
not
blitz
easy.
game. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying it now that this was. But
Making
trading
sense.
on g5 and then trading on c1
Knight.
obviously
Yes,
relieves
knight.
a lot of pressure from white, and now white should be as long as we. Yeah, now the black played b7, b6. You really.
Bishop.
I think maybe it's time to kind of shut up shop, because if
King.
you let that knight be, I can start envisaging scenarios where white could be better.
King.
Right, knights often, if they find some decent square, can make a bishop look silly, especially when all the pawns go on the
pawn.
other color, for example,
Pawn.
and this bishop has not much to do.
Yeah,
I still say
This
the
is-
knight doesn't really have any points
King.
yet.
well, I could name a plan, and black
Pawn.
actually took on d3, which I think honestly is a solid idea right now. Just take on d3, and now we can kind of pass forever. Yeah, time to. We can also even play g6, g5 here, which is a kind of a brave move because it does allow
Pawn.
white to change the structure on the king side a little bit. I don't know if I'm brave
Pawn.
enough to play g5 in the blitz game here, but apparently we can. We can also just do nothing, because white doesn't really have any kind of
King.
entrance
King.
points on the king
King.
I'm
side.
gonna say be careful.
Hmm.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say if
Yeah.
I play h4, and then you let me play h5,
Yeah,
and right at this
we-
moment you
Pawn.
decide to take, then I take this
Pawn,
guy,
pawn.
and then take that guy, and that guy's going.
Yeah, and that guy queens. Yeah,
King.
And that guy's
This-
queen. So
Pawn.
the king should
a little
not be on
careful.
c6. The king should be on
Is it
f7.
my
The thing
turn?
is, the queen side,
Yes, pawn.
it hasn't been closed yet, but it is effectively closed
then
because
move
there's no
before you
way
set
you
the
can
pace.
actually open anything on the queen side.
Oh.
So the king has no business being on c6. It should be absolutely
King.
on the other side of the board.
Pawn.
So
Ah.
here's a moment where h4 could be a sneak move
Mm.
to try to get our thing on. I
Pawn.
doubt that is going to happen.
Pawn.
Okay, if we see, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah, and
and
now,
now we have
your
it.
plan
We can
actually
actually
wins.
trade
Pawn.
Yeah.
an h4. I just I didn't like
Yeah.
pawn endings are notorious for this kind of stuff happening, and now we'll see
Pawn.
whether or not pawn takes happens, and chess and slums will go down.
Hello
The,
there.
the
Pawn.
team were extolled, and they missed it.
Pawn.
King
They missed
c3,
it.
simply defending a pawn.
Pawn.
Very
Pawn.
natural.
Well,
King.
we can
Pawn.
perhaps continue covering this game in a very, very illustrious company,
Pawn.
and we're very happy for the
King.
opportunity to talk to one of the people playing in the
King.
tournament.
Pawn.
Yes, I think
Uh,
we were being joined by James Altucher, who's playing on Team James Altucher. James, welcome to the show.
Maurice, Peter, and I didn't see who else was there, but
Just us
great
two.
to be talking to you.
Are you seeing this game that we have on our screen?
Yes.
All right. Well, we want to continue to talk about this as missed the win there.
Okay. What about instead of H4, was there F5?
Even
No, just trading on f6
yeah,
and then
F5 was
playing
al-
h4, h5.
Yeah, James is also correct. F5 was also very, very strong. Taking on F6 and H4 was winning on the spot, but so was F5, because with the king on
Yeah,
A5,
you're
the
right.
e-pawn also quins. So yeah,
This king is just too far away.
White missed 2 wins, and now black is not making a draw in response again, because now finally white actually realized what is needed to happen, and 50 seconds should be enough here. I'm assuming for the team.
More than enough.
Yeah,
It's
for the
just a
team
mating
Yeah, the team
with the
GG
queen
team.
and Chess and Slums. Chess and Slums just beat you guys, James.
Yes.
In
Yes.
what was
We were hurt badly by them, but they did good.
That
and
was a
I'm sorry, I
very
didn't get this. We
Go
didn't
on.
get to see your game this round. How did you do?
We won a pawn early on, but then they, created some good counter chances and ended up mating.
oof.
Oh, you lost that last round.
Yes.
Okay. All
It was-
right. Well, that's a bit
Think-
surprising. Let's just make sure we see the finish of this one. It's come down to here and mate coming on the next move.
Absolutely
be
is,
sure.
yeah. I think,
All right,
James,
let's-
you should blame me because I very confidently stated that you will be in the knockout phase, and that precipitated a dramatic change in fortunes.
Yes, we tried hard though. We put up a fight, but I will blame you. If you're giving me the opportunity to blame you, then I will take it.
You should absolutely go ahead and claim it's all my fault. That has never served anybody
we do have a
poorly.
game in progress, everyone here. Outrival has the black pieces. This one looks completely winning for white. I mean, this mess of pawns, definitely somebody's going to become a queen in this
Yes.
position. And black has only 6 seconds left. The time pressure is pretty awful. James, tell us, how hard is it to play hand and brain?
It's really hard, I think, when you're getting used to each other's style. You don't know if somebody likes to open up the position, or if you suggest a move that would open up the position, will they actually open it up, or will they play something cautious? You don't know. You have to get a feel for the partner, and
Were
that's
you
interesting.
were you allowed any discussion beforehand regarding, let's say, openings?
I don't think so. We didn't have that opportunity.
So you're doing this absolutely by feel, starting
Yes.
from move one, yeah.
Yes.
That's tough. From my experience in hand and brain, at least let's say like a couple of minutes to establish what your partner plays in certain positions, like what your favorite response is to one e4 and one d4. That goes
Well,
a
and
long way.
I remember watching. I think it was you playing Hand and Brain in the Amsterdam tournament, the Ilya Levetov
Hmm.
tournament, and you guys were all arguing afterwards, each
Well,
game.
yeah, but
Not in a
we
bad way, just a lot of Russian
yeah,
going
but
back
that
and
that
forth.
that presents a whole different problem. Yeah, when there are stylistic disagreements with your colleagues, and then you miss some very beautiful combination that he calculated from 7 moves ago, and you don't find the final touch, and you go astray, and then he berates you for 10 minutes straight.
So,
That
so
can
I think with Genevieve, and Genevieve's here, we were erring on the side of caution rather than tactics, and that was a strategy, but in this last round it didn't work.
I see here this position, not to bring up an unpleasant memory, but it's an unusual mate with the two rooks
Yes,
vertically as opposed to horizontally.
yes, we
So
were back made it on the side.
definitely, um,
that's a
definitely a challenge. James, tell us why you so happily participate in this event, Chess2Change, doing such great work with charity.
Well, I think that there's always, and this is a part of the world where you could have the greatest growth in chess, right? This is a developing part of the world, and there's so many young players who, there's always a saying, you can either trade bullets or dollars, but I like to also say you could also trade pawns to develop a country. And that's what's happening here is getting people and young people in these developing countries to have the discipline and learn such a beautiful game, helps them, helps their communities, helps their countries ultimately. And I think that's the great success of this.
Wonderfully said. And if you want to contribute, remember to go to exclam donate or exclam charity, and anything you can give, we very much appreciate. James, you've got to win the next two if you want to qualify, or you have a
I know we're
chance.
going to try
But
really hard.
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do different?
Maybe, well, Genevieve, let me ask you, Genevieve, what should we
exactly.
do differently?
Yeah.
What should we do differently in the next 2 rounds? We've got to win the next 2 rounds. What do you think we should do?
Play faster.
Playing a little faster, okay. And uh, should I play more aggressively? Like if you suggest a pawn move, should I try to find the most aggressive one?
Yeah.
All right.
I like that spirit. I very much like that spirit.
We'll be doing the
All right.
checkmating from now on.
Well, we'll let you all go and get yourself fired up for the next round. Good luck in your last two games.
Thank you so much, you guys. Nice talking to you.
Good luck.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Good luck. That was James Altucher and Genevieve Machado. They looked like they had a chance of getting to the semifinals, but Peter jinxed them and said they would get there. As usual, commentators curse, as Yasser Sirwan likes to say, but we will see what comes next as we're preparing now
Let's
for
take a look at the
round 4.
standings for a second, maybe.
And let's do that. We'll jump to the standings. And currently we have only one team on a perfect score. We had 3 before, but Business Meets Chess Kids, we mentioned them as a very powerful team indeed. The highest average rating in the tournament. They are clear first, a full point ahead of a chasing pack of 5, sitting at 2 points. We finally got a score of 1.5 points as well. I think 3 is going to be on the outside looking in, Peter.
Yeah,
Maybe you might squeak in with 3 to get in the final 4, but that's
perhaps
with
good tie breaks. Yeah, with good tie breaks, you might be okay on 3. And impressively, we are 3 rounds in. That's 18 games, 1 draw, and that's that draw in the first round, which was a very nicely found repetition straight out of the opening. No draws since then. Very, very nice to see the fighting spirit and all the excitement generated by these fine gentlemen and ladies.
Absolutely combative rounds as we're seeing, and who knows who will make it into the semifinals. That's always the drama. That's the tension. It's just one of those teams just running away with it. And so we are going to be back with round 4 any moment now. I'm sure the games will begin in a hot minute. And that's all you're going to get, folks. To get your water, go to the restroom real quick and rejoin us as round 4 is set to begin. We'll be back in a moment. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chess2Change Charity Chess Tournament. This has been exciting so far. 3 rounds in. We're going into round 4 in a moment. Peter, chess seems to just be blossoming these days. After the pandemic, chess jumped online and it has not looked back. We're participating now, of course, in this event that's online as well. But we will be having chess IRL in real life happening quite soon as the Grand Chess Tour once again continues. It is now in Zagreb, Croatia on the 2nd of July. And one Magnus Carlsen, the #1 player in the world, will be jumping into the fray to participate in that event. It should be quite exciting indeed. Just go to grandchesstour.org if you want to find out more. And we've seen also the rise of young players from India as well, Peter, as now Pragnananda, Erigaisi, and Gukesh, the world champion, are now 4, 5, and 6 on the rating list.
Yeah, and this is where I want to claim a lot of credit, because obviously what happened is at the beginning of this year, Prague made a very important decision to shed some ballast, fired his coach, and is now winning everything in sight. So obviously I was the one thing that was holding him back, and I'm very happy to see the young man blossom. I mean, blossoming is a bit unfair. He was already blossoming before that, but he's having a fabulous year, and genuinely, I am very, very happy for him.
Peter, I would take you on as a coach any day, absolutely.
Thank you.
You provided the young man with
confidence.
tons of insights, but sometimes change is good. Just to get some fresh insights after that great foundation has been laid. You need somebody else to shake things up.
Yeah, there's if we go, okay, it hasn't happened. I saw a tactic which would have been quite spectacular by move 5 on the rightmost board, but it hasn't happened. So far, everything is very solid everywhere. Could have been less solid. We
are seeing some big pairings as Business Meets Chess Kids is playing Chess and Slums. They were co-leaders a round ago, but then Chess and Slums lost their game.
Is there some sort of contractual obligation for one advanced French in every single round or something?
It does seem as though they enjoy French, that's for sure, and especially the advanced. That's happening every single time. Yeah. Very popular opening for sure. At least you don't get mated on F7. That's the plus. Then they teach kids the French. Like you're not going to get mated on F7.
Not
unless it's some kind of creative mate. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah. No, not immediately. Knight G7 was played by Team Chess and Slums in the previous round, I think. No, that was actually them playing white against the James Altucher team. Bishop D7 we haven't seen yet. it's one of the main moves in this position, and this line is very, very intricate. And I have to say, it has been treated quite fairly so far by players. I quite like the way people have been playing the advanced, in particular from the white side in that game, very crucial game between Chess and Slums and the James Altucher team.
Sure. I have never at any point in my chess career adopted the French at any level. Have you?
I think I have 0 games in the French on the black side. Maybe one somewhere by misclick or something, but no.
In an online game. Yeah, I've not played the French I don't even think I've even done it in bullet.
The thing is, it's not actually a bad opening if you prepare it to put in the time. And the good thing about the French is it has generally over the past, I don't know, very many years, definitely more than 20, maybe 40, it has become so unfashionable at the top level that if you're prepared actually to invest the time and effort into learning this opening, you will be playing people who haven't really looked at it properly because they don't feel the urge and they don't feel the necessity to prepare seriously against the French, considering the fact that you might go a couple of years without seeing it. Although these days, people have, like, when I was kind of coming up through the ranks, there was really only one person at the very top level who played it consistently, and that was Alexander Morozevich.
I was about to say just that.
Yeah, and okay, if you played a lot against Morozevich, then you kind of had to have something against the French. But outside of games against specifically him, you legitimately could go years without encountering it. But now,
why is that, Peter? Why don't you tell the fans why 2700s are not playing the French? Instead, they go for an E4, E5 Berlins and oftentimes Sicilians. But the French, and for those who are new to the game, we just want to give. Let me just give them a sense. This is the standard setup of the French. This exact position and number of variations. The advanced French is the pawn going to E5, C5 being the move, and now we get a very standard position, a very interesting knight A3 played, and now an exchange and the knight to E7.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the French is, and the speech I gave about it being completely unfashionable before and becoming more fashionable now, I think it all ties together, because the point about the French is it's an opening where you're not really trying to equalize by force. What you're trying to get is a very fighting position, which objectively very often will not be all that good, at least to begin with, which will challenge you to play positions where, in particular these days, the computer will at first scream at you that you made a horrible mistake on move 1 and you are now wars. And the fact that only Morozevich was playing it is, I think, a very telling thing, because let's say the mid-90s to, let's say, the mid-aughts, the school of thought, which I think was exemplified at first by Kasparov and then by Kramnik and his acolytes, was that you're supposed to play correct chess, and with black you absolutely are supposed to play very, very strictly to kind of solve your problems. By force if necessary, by force preferably, not even if necessary, but preferably by force, which is, hence the rise of the Berlin and the Petrov, where Vladimir was absolutely at the forefront of people trying just to kind of treat chess as a math problem. Whereas Alexander Morozevich
Snooze fest, you mean? Snooze fest.
Well, I mean, okay. And Alexander Morozevich was very much an antidote to this. He was somebody who aimed for mayhem in every single game, who was not at all interested in zeros on the screen. He was interested in getting positions he knew and his opponents didn't. And he didn't really care if he was slightly worse out of the game, out of the opening. It didn't really concern him unduly at all. And now the situation is changing. And the reason, for instance, that Prague played the French in the candidates in Toronto twice, with equalizing very easily against Fabi and then equalizing very easily against Jan Nepomniachtchi. Actually, he was even slightly better against Jan Nepomniachtchi at some point. the thing is, this modern generation and the Indian kids, I think, are very much exemplifying it, but it also applies to, let's say, to Notibek Arusatorov, who is on par these days, I guess, with the three Indian kids, maybe even four Indian kids these days, right? Aravind is also very, very close to the top 10. These guys are absolutely in the sort of in the Morozevich mold, even if their style of play is different in many respects. The attitude to opening theory, I think, is very similar to what Morozevich was displaying in the mid-90s and the early 2000s, where they don't really care very much about making forced draws. They will if they have to, but it's really not the the end goal of their opening prep. And in a lot of cases, the top young players today will go for even maybe slightly dubious things to play a game of chess, which is an
You're kidding? The
unbelievable.
World Championship, we saw that. Gukesh playing positions where you're like, wait a second, dude, repeat and get out of there. And he's like, I didn't see myself as that really much worse. And you're like, Bo, you were definitely worse. But he would play those positions anyway.
And this is an unbelievably welcome development.
What is your move, Ivan?
For sort of chess at large and for chess as a spectator sport, because you get much more exciting games. You watch a tournament like Vike, or even like the GCT tournaments I was commentating on this year with the fields, where you're watching the top 10 play against each other, which in the past has, let's put it mildly, has not always been the most exciting thing to watch. Because these guys, these guys play each other day in, day out. They know each other extremely well. They play all the same openings against each other all the time. And sometimes you would get tournaments where really not very much was going on, in particular in classical. It's much less true with this current crop, because they really don't care all that much about making draws by home prep. If it happens,
I remember tournament, Singfield Cup, classical, of course. Out of 45 games played, only 8 were decisive. And
I don't think this will happen. I don't think it will happen this year. Let's put it like this. I don't think
that's not good for chess at all.
I don't think the current lineup of the GCT is very likely to produce anything like this. I think it's going to be a lot more exciting.
All right. Well, we have definitely gone a bit off the ranch and talked about the great world of chess. And obviously we have you, Peter, here. So it's good to get your insights as always. But let's get back to our game, which we've been watching slow-footed in terms of development. Black seems to have done exactly what you said about the French. Maybe you were slightly better to start, but I know it better than you do. And you might make an off move, a move like bishop f4, for example, for white. And suddenly I get the f6 break. And guess who has the open file? Guess who has a bishop that's going to,
bishop e8.
As early as move 1. That's the problem with the French. E6 buries this bishop. But guess what? This bishop has the opportunity to get to greener pastures very quickly, although a6 was just played. And black seems to be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I like this for black. I keep on bishop e8 kind of needs to be played. It's not the most obvious move in the position, and perhaps nominating the bishop here would be a good thing, but hasn't happened yet, might not happen even here. Black has other options, but it is the one piece black has here, which currently isn't doing very much, and it will be quite active on g6 or h5, which is why both Maurice and me are highlighting this particular maneuver. Without that, I mean, I'm not particularly happy with how it came out for white as far as opening results go. But if you give white some time to stabilize, if white, let's say, plays bishop e2 d3 and then maybe knight c2 e3 in a good situation, white could go a long way towards reestablishing some control, which is why this idea of bishop e8 is strong. Another idea would be, as you mentioned, we now have a semi-open file. Maybe double the rooks on the f file would be something you could try doing.
And black is taking time here. What do I see? Lost? Are we
Yeah.
as oblivious?
I think that's probably a glitch. It's very difficult for me to imagine this actually happened. The black lost on time by move 17. Maybe there's a technical problem, which would be very, very unfortunate for Team Chess and Slums if something
No,
happened to.
Team Chess and Slums, no way. They were playing so quickly that no way they lost on time just because.
Mm.
So we will see what happened there. It does say white won.
That is regrettable. That to me sounds like an internet issue. And yeah, losing because your internet bugs out is never a fun experience.
That is so sad. That I'm very down about that for sure. All right, well, nothing to control there. Let's go to a game that is somewhat even, although not on the clock. We see 28 seconds for white as DGT Chess2Change is playing against the Gift of Chess.
Yeah,
currently,
I was about to say
clear
there might be a
first.
repetition, but black declined a repetition. Black is somewhat better, but it's going to be difficult to win this position because you are a pawn up, but your pawn is on b3, which means that your entire collection of pieces is kind of tied down to the protection of that one extra pawn. But if white does nothing, eventually maybe you make some progress on the king side.
There is a potential to march in here and create a little havoc.
And
maybe.
by the way, 2.5 minutes against 20 seconds is perhaps the most important thing we can say about this game. 2.5 minutes against 20 seconds is a problem.
And that last move suddenly gives this release point. And how do you guard your pawn here? I mean, you get this one.
Yeah,
but once this one collapses, the base is gone, and then the rest of the pawns start to become problems.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. If black finds rook g8 here, they should win. You're better even if you don't find it, but it is by far the best move in the position.
Oh no, the black said rook.
Yeah, and rook was suggested. Yeah, one more chance.
Again, rook g8
one
is on
more
the board.
chance. Yeah,
one more chance. One more chance. Say rook and find rook g8. Nope, said pawn this time. And
this is strong though. Using the fact that there's no rook on d3 to improve your pawn structure, I kind of approve. It's a very good solid move which betrays very decent understanding. It's just that there was something that was winning on the spot instead. Yeah, and now we are making rolling. Yeah, now we are making progress everywhere. Yeah, rook takes c4.
Oh my goodness, rook takes looks fascinating. Getting the triple pawns. Okay, advance is also strong, but rook takes was winning as well, and that would have been very attractive to see the triple pawns be dominant.
And we just got informed that Tunde has indeed had some internet connectivity issues, which is very regrettable because they were doing well and they didn't really need to lose that game, especially in that fashion. That is regrettable for Team Chess and Slums.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, when you have 4 players playing in 4 different places in the world, trying to come together with internet issues and not having any one of them have a problem, that's like the kind of thing that can happen.
Yeah. Absolutely,
that's definitely sad, especially since we expected to see them in the semis. Well, now
they might still make it, but
once again. And this position is completely crushing. Like there's
even
no
if
question about it.
White can now reestablish the material balance with queen takes h4, but the fact of the matter is black has so many passers in the center, and every single black piece is rook c2 finally lands on the board. It should not
devastating.
It should not be difficult to go from here. Yeah, rook takes g2 is good. c5, c4 was also perfectly good enough, but why not take a pawn while also cutting off your opponent's king in the process?
That's lovely. That's the one thing you want to do. The king can never get out of the way of this pawn, and it's the only pawn that's passed in white's position. So this is perfect, and this just makes the whole position super easy to win. And Gift of Chess is just rolling along now, playing king to f4, which I think was not even necessary, although there's another free pawn.
Yeah, it's very beautiful though. It's just such a wanting to give mate cannot really be criticized. Yeah, and then now
especially since you do give mate in the end, and in time pressure, white cut the suffering short. We know this one was over anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can see any more games in progress. Actually, all the games are now concluded, and we get some results. Outrival, we haven't been talking about too much, did win here. Well, actually, no, lost here.
Lost on time
also
in a completely winning position.
In the game, in a completely winning position. Wow, very sad turn of events for them. We did not look at this one. and we see Black was completely winning and won on time as well.
Mhm.
So that is to be understood as Dixon do loses. This one actually
James and Genevieve.
sure,
Yeah, dominating performance by
comeback.
James and Genevieve. Yeah, judging by that diagram, that was a good game by them.
Nasty looking final position. Let's take a look then at the standings. And Business Meets Chess Kids continues to roll. The Gift of Chess finally drops a point, and they're at 3.
Mhm.
And Chess2Change at 3 as well. So they're leading. James Altucher's team is on the bubble. They're on the bubble as Nambi is, which is the Namibia team, is at 2.5. And there's a
Yeah.
bunch of players, bunch of teams sitting at 2 points. Only one round to go before we get into the semi. So this is a crucial round, crucial matchup between the teams. This will decide it all as to who goes into the final 4. Peter, this is exciting stuff.
It is exciting stuff. Regrettably, I mean, I'm leaving you in very, very good and capable hands, but I do unfortunately have to go. It's been a blast, and I'm sorry I'm missing the conclusion to the Swiss portion, because it's going to be everything to play for. Business meets Chess and Kids is probably in. Even if they lose, they don't really have to worry about anything. Yeah,
they're definitely, and mathematically, only 2 teams can catch them.
Yeah, but even for teams who are already on 3 out of 4, with a loss, you could absolutely fail to qualify there.
You don't want to lose this round.
Yeah, and
not if you have 3.
And one of them probably plays the Business Meets Chess and Kids, who are slaying everything in their path. And there's a potentially a very tasty pairing of the Namibian team against one of the teams on 3, with the Namibian team kind of needing a win there to absolutely secure the qualification spot. But people on 50% now, including the Altuscher team and some other teams on 2 out of 4, they're not out of it. They're absolutely not out of it at all. And yeah, round 5 is going to be very, very exciting. But as I mentioned, I am bowing out at this point. Thank you very much for having me. It's as always, it's such a pleasure to talk to you, Maurice. But there is star power coming in to take this show forward, and a very, very warm welcome to Elin Nilssen.
Well, you kind of stole my thunder there, Peter. But nevertheless, we will first of all thank you so much for being here. Your insights are always wonderful. Masterclass indeed. Every time I listen to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening where you are. And till we see each other again, it just takes too long before we get to see each other.
It really does, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Peter. And welcome, Ellen.
Thank you, Maurice. Wow, I feel a lot of responsibility taking over after Peter here. I mean, this is a lot of pressure on my shoulders, but I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited for what's to come. An interesting round 5 for sure.
Indeed, interesting. We are going to take a very quick break before we start round 5. Don't go anywhere, anyone. The exciting final round of the preliminary portion, the knockout, the preliminary, what I said, sorry, losing my English. But this phase is about to conclude with the last round of the qualifiers. That's the word I was looking for. The last round of the qualifiers will be next. You don't want to miss it. We'll see who gets in to the final 4 in just a moment. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone, to the Chess2Change charity chess tournament. I'm Maurice Ashley, and I'm joined by a very special commentator. She's taking on the baton after Peter Svidler. It is streamer extraordinaire, Ellen Nilssen. Ellen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Maurice. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited. We have a lot of interesting chess coming, and a very good cause.
It's been a ton of fun so far. We've had plenty of action, Ellen, with 4 incredible rounds, and the cream's rising to the top now as we see the standings with Business Meets Chess Kids towering over everyone with 4 points, but it doesn't matter how you do in the first half. It's how you do in the final four, in the semifinals and the finals. I love these kind of tournaments where it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Yeah, definitely. Those are also my favorite kinds. Like the World Blitz Championship has also changed to this kind of format, and I think it really adds to the excitement. It gives you a chance to do well in the start, do well in the beginning, and just prove that you're supposed to be the winner.
Absolutely. Well, we are waiting for the rounds to be paired, and there's going to be some critical round pairings at this round as we see that the gift of chess is sitting on 3, Chess2Change also sitting on 3 points. One of them is probably thinking, I don't want to play Business Meets Chess Kids. I think I think they've already played someone though. Let's see. I think I pressed the wrong button there because I see a lot of
Yes.
things happening. I shouldn't have messed things up. Let's go back to games. Okay, what did I do wrong? I'm gonna X out here. I was trying to see who they played so far. Oh, there we go. They played the gift of chess already. So they actually looks like a forced pairing of Chess2Change. It looks like that is a necessary pairing for them. And it looks like they will play this team, and the gift of chess will likely play the Nambi team. Let me just see who the gift of chess has played. They haven't played them either. So I think we know who's playing who. And whoever ducks Business Meets Chess Kids looks like they'll be very happy in this round, to be sure.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of potential for changes in the standings that can really affect who goes on to the next segment. Maurice, what's your you've seen quite a few more games than I have so far. What's your take? Who do you think will advance?
Well, I think it's going to matter a lot in terms of the tie breaks because I think that James Altucher's Team Altucher, is going to definitely rise, or my suspicion is that they will. And Chess in Slum, so sad that they forfeited on time or whatever the technical reasons were why they didn't win the last game or weren't able to even complete the last game. But they seem to be also favored. If I would have picked from the very beginning, those would have been 2. Peter, I believe, agreed as well. We'll see whether or not the tie breaks, though, will punish them in any sort of way. That's going to be the biggest problem that they face. So I think one of those 2 teams, though, will rise, and we will see, just before they get started. Ellen, tell us a little bit about yourself as a streamer. How long have you been streaming, and what do you find the most fun and maybe the most challenging about streaming?
Yeah, I actually haven't streamed for a very long time. It was something that I started during COVID, but I had a few gap years after I finished high school, and then yeah, I started there, but then after I started studying and working, there hasn't been a lot of time for it. So for the past few years, it's actually just been study and work, while a little bit of chess on the side. I played the World Rapid and Blitz in London a few weeks ago, it must have been.
The team
So,
tournament, you mean?
sorry?
The team tournament
Yes,
that just
exactly.
concluded.
Yeah,
Mhm.
played for the team Danish Futures. We had a lot of fun. That's also why I love tournaments like these, where you can actually play in a team because you're there supporting each other, lifting each other up when it goes down. You give each other a few words of uplifting, and when it's not going so well, and when it's going good, the vibe and the energy is just great. But Maurice, it seems like the next round is a little bit delayed. So actually, we are joined by Team Nambi in the studio, and we're going to do a short interview.
Indeed, Team Nambi in the house, and welcome. You 2 are sitting at 2.5 points right now. How have you found the event so far?
Personally, I think it's been really well organized. So thank you very much. Shout out to all the organizers.
And I'm trying to I'm trying to get your results so far. I mean, the individual results, but I just want to talk to Tandek for a moment. How are you enjoying yourself?
Well, Well, Mr. Jenna said, obviously it's very organized, so that's always nice. And how am I finding this? As the brain, right? I guess it's kind of expected, but like I say a move, I say a piece, and he just does not do what I want. Um, and we've hung queens over it, we've one pieces over it, like me not seeing something and he actually finds something better than what I was thinking. So overall, it's been pretty fun.
That is the nature of hand and brain, isn't it? That you just
Yeah.
don't know what your partner is necessarily going to do. Have you had, you said you hung a queen in one of the games?
Yes, we did. It was so sad. I said rook, and then he found brilliant rook sacrifice to win a queen. And then later on in a time scramble, we had 20 seconds, they also had 20 seconds. So at that point, it's kind of like 50-50. And I said queen, and he took a pawn that was not free at all, and a
Oh,
bishop
I
that was
saw
hiding.
that game. Was it queen takes pawn on
Yeah, yeah.
f6?
Yes, queen times f6, then bishop times f6. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I remember that one.
Yeah. That was kinda
David, what do you
tough.
have to say for yourself?
I'm sorry. I was stressed.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Well, indeed, things do happen. What has been harrowing for you so far, David, as you try to coordinate all this? Is this the first time you're doing handed brain?
It's actually the first time I'm doing it online. I've done it over the board before. So, wow, it's a new experience, but it's worked better than I thought it would.
Well, you two are right now at 2.5 points. A win guarantees, not trying to put any pressure on you, but a win guarantees you a entry into the semifinal round. Any thoughts, Tandek? I'll go with you first. What do you guys need to do to make this win happen?
I guess we'll just keep doing what we're doing, I guess. Like we haven't really had a strategy. We're just going in, having fun, trying to play the best moves in each position. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out in our favor though. So looking forward to that.
Good attitude, David. This is pressure on you now, not to blunder a queen again. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I'm trying to be laser focused and laid back at the same time. That's my strategy. Let's see how it goes.
I like that. I like that. Well, good luck in your last round. We hope to see you for sure in the semifinals.
And before we
Thank you,
leave,
thank you.
really honored to meet you. I mean, you're really great
Oh
person.
yeah, definitely. Like the
I
second grandmaster, I've had a
yeah,
conversation.
you've inspired so many of us. I saw you growing up, so really nice talking to you.
It is my pleasure. Thank you very much. Those are kind words. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Well, they are definitely a jubilant team. I like their attitude, and hopefully they can do their best and get into the semifinals, which are just one round away. And Ellen, this kind of, have you ever played yourself hand and brain as a streamer? You must have.
Oh, Maurice, I've played so much Hand and Brain that I can't even count the amount of times, and it's equally frustrating every single time. My problem is just that I'm usually the worst player when I'm playing. So if I'm the hand, like I don't understand what kind of brilliancies my brains are finding, and when I'm the brain, I just never say the right piece according to them. So yeah, I can definitely relate to what they were feeling. It's hand and brain is definitely not easy.
It is not easy. I remember when I played with Fabiano Caruana, you can imagine that I was definitely the weaker player in that situation. And we played against Magnus Carlsen and Tanya Sachdev. And I have to say, I saw a move that was clearly like obviously the move. And Fabi said another piece, and I'm looking at him like, dude, what?
You're supposed to be the better player here. Come on,
like, yeah,
get your head
I'm
in the
supposed to be
game.
the one blundering everything, and you're suggesting the bad move. Like, I didn't know what to do. And that right after the game was over, Magnus was like, "Yeah, you could have played Rook E8." I was like, "Just for that." So you just never know. It doesn't matter who you are. Anybody can mess up at hand and brain. It's just difficult. Actually, I will add. There was a situation in that same match where Fabi saw the best move, and it was a very subtle queen move. And he didn't say queen because he thought I wouldn't see it. And after the
Ah,
game, I like only just to say queen, and I had to find it was a choice between two queen moves. He thought I would have played the more obvious queen move, and I can't say that I wouldn't have, but give me a chance at least, because I was thinking in a different direction. And suddenly he trades off a piece. So I'm like, that can't be the right move. And then after the game, he said, yeah, I was going to say queen and you had to just find the move, but I wasn't sure you would see it. Like, wow, the faith my partner did not have in me. So all kinds of weird things could happen in hand and brain. And that was definitely one of them. One of my experiences playing that. So don't kick yourself. Anything happens, even with the strongest of the strongest.
yeah, I mean, you were in a situation where your partner afterwards told you, "Ah, I wanted to play this move, but I wasn't sure you were gonna find it." Believe me when I say I'm pretty sure my partners, they have many times not set a piece because they were sure I wouldn't find the move. But what I also really liked about this interview with Team Nambi was that Tandeka, I think, told
And
about
yeah.
this amazing rook sacrifice that they hadn't seen. And suddenly the hand plays the move and you're sitting there and you're like, wow, this is incredible. And that's also what I really like about Hand and Brain, that you have two different perspectives on the situation and on the position. And then you might think that you have the right one, but your partner can sometimes surprise you both pleasantly and, with the queen loss unpleasantly.
Yes, and you have to adjust as well, right? When whatever it is, you have to act like, oh yeah, I saw it all along, and yeah, we're totally
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
totally
of course,
okay.
of
Or
course.
you're blundered, don't worry about it. They'll blunder back, we'll be okay. Hopefully, it's not a kind of fatal blunder, but you still have to harmonize as a team and keep playing. So I find these to be fascinating type of events for psychological reason, but just coordinating, as you mentioned, playing team chess can just be so rewarding because it's not just about you, it's about the team spirit and camaraderie.
Yeah, it really is. So you said you've played with Fabiano Caruana before. That must have been quite an experience. Are there other really strong players that you have played Hand and Brain with?
Yes, I actually used to stream and I played with Wesley So once. I played with Daniel Naroditsky. I played with Irina Krush on my stream. I used to invite just very powerful players. I mentioned the story about playing with Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist, and
Wow.
that was meh.
That was an
uh,
experience in another way, perhaps.
Yeah, that one was not easy at all. But it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, so it was just a ton of fun playing with him, and not playing with him necessarily, but talking to him. Let's get it straight. Talking with Neil because he had so many great insights. We were talking a lot about the correlation between chess and science and astrophysics, and he just had these great redescriptions of chess using elemental forces in nature, talking about force and lasers and how you can explain chess using those ideas. And I just found it fantastic. It didn't help him play any better chess, but it
Yeah, I was about
definitely
to ask,
was
was this
eye-opening.
during the games that you were talking about it? Because then
No,
I
no,
can
no, no. This was
understand why the
before. This
moves
was
perhaps.
we're outer spacey. Like, yeah, no, it was definitely before the game when we had an extended interview. I also gave him some chess puzzles that I had created because I like to create chess studies and puzzles
Yeah, you
that
have
mirrored.
a very creative course, right? Something about chess geometry, if I don't misremember completely.
I didn't pay you to say it, but I mean, absolutely happy that you mentioned my course, Secrets of Chess Geometry, was out 3 years ago. I just published Secrets of Chess Geometry 2, The Dance of the Pieces. And yes, it has a lot of my studies in that course, but talking about the importance of basic geometry in chess and the geometry of chess itself, which is different from Euclidean geometry, which is mainly what we learn in school, or at least in grade school, high school, depending on what school you went to. But I talk about the differences and how important it is to understanding all of chess tactics. So yes, that course is out now with Chessable. You can go to chessable.com and Maurice Ashley. Thanks so much for that point. Well, it was it was definitely that kind of conversation that I had with Neil, and I find that cross correlates. And what I was saying was that I gave him a few puzzles because I realized he was coming on, and the puzzles I actually put in place, I didn't expect him to solve in terms of the moves, but I tried to mirror constellations in the sky. That means the
No
pieces that
way.
I put down, yeah, absolutely. The pieces I put, and you can go look this up on YouTube, this conversation with
Oh,
Neil
that
and the
sounds
chess,
amazing.
yeah, the chess puzzles, all the pieces were in places where they mirrored different constellations in the sky. And I can say that he did quite badly on that activity as well. Big shot astrophysicist. Okay, he got a couple of them right, but he was complaining about like the other three. And but somehow I was able to put real, mates in fives, mate in threes, put them together in such a way that they worked, but they were on squares that mapped those constellations. So it was quite a bit of fun with him.
Yeah,
All
I
right, we're waiting
really
for the next round to start. Sorry, I'm just checking with our producer, as it seems to be taking a little bit longer to start than usual. Or am I behind? Nope, we're still refresh my screen. Does seem as though we still have a bit of time. I guess they knew you were coming on, Ellen, so they said let them have an extended conversation.
Yeah, I mean, just all the concepts and ideas that you're talking about. That's also something I really love about chess. I'm a big fan of studies in general. I have to be completely honest, I do not have your course, but I feel like after listening to this, then maybe I should buy it because studies are just my thing. And I mean, a talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson about chess and astrophysics, it sounds absolutely incredible in my ears.
I have two things to say. First of all, you definitely have to get my course in order for you to be
Of course, yeah. I
seriously.
have no choice
And
now.
and there are two courses now, so you're behind the times already because there's already two of them. So definitely get the first one, and when you're ready, catch up with the second one. But the second one thing I want to say is the course is not just studies. I mean, it's tons of regular chess positions because the whole point of chess geometry is that it's always happening. Chess geometry is everywhere. Any position you see involves chess geometry. The pieces move in a geometric way, and the knight is the center of a moving circle. I mean, that's just a fact. Anytime you see a knight, that's just a reality. The knight is the center of a moving circle. And so it's always there. Geometry is ever present. It's just that we use other types of terminology to express chess concepts. What I'm trying to do is conflate the two so that people can see the relationship of how strong players look at the board. And we do see these geometric connections all the time. Name the position. You'll see some great positions after you go get the course. But that said, we will start as the round has begun, as the gift of chess is playing Nambi as we suspected. And let's go to that game because this is crucial for who goes into the semifinals. So we got some great pairings, and right now we started out with a Trompowsky and it's a normal chess position. Do you ever play this as white or black?
I have to say, being completely honest, I hate playing against this as black. I have never been able to find a kind of a good setup. To me, right now, it looks like a kind of London, but somehow I just always get mated with the black pieces. White puts a knight on e5, they play f4, and suddenly I'm just done. This knight
Oh,
c6
correct.
move
No, I'm
is
glad you corrected me. What I meant to say was a London because it is a London. It is not
yes,
a Trump.
yes.
It is a London. I misspoke, but continue.
Yeah, this knight c6 move is very interesting to me. And wow, bishop takes g3, allowing h takes g3, opening up for the rook to attack against the king. This is maybe a little bit controversial.
You know, I see that you're polite, the typical kind of Scandinavian style. So, we in Brooklyn would say it was a bad move. Like, what are you doing? Like that just sucked. I'm sorry, but okay, they're kids who are playing, so we ought to be nicer to them. And controversial is a very good word, though. That sounds like a Peter word as well. But why does
I
not
have to say
play this
I love that word.
the word
So
controversial because it seems
yes.
very it's a word you can say and not feel like you're insulting the other person. is what you're
Exactly.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. Like almost passive aggressive type. Yeah, I'm not a fan, but yes, I get it. And we do see that in this position, however, White has not handled it well and has let the knight, if H6 had been played, would have chased the knight over to not the happiest square. And there would have been some tactics, by the way. A move like E5 and Bishop G4, threatening to trap the queen. Let me just go back.
Oh, wow. That's an
H6,
incredible idea.
knight, and this move, and suddenly the unleashing of the
King.
bishop with a queen trap threatened, and
Yes, sir.
also a fork. And if
I
you
didn't
take,
hear.
then there's also the problem
Knight
knight
takes
takes possible.
sometimes.
I mean, it would have been really, really bad for White
King.
if H6 had been played instead. After Queen F3, H5 itself was played, and then castles, and it's still on the board. The move E5.
But I
would
have to
be a-
say, I mean, even though H6 might have been better, I still also like this H5 move, just taking complete
Mhm.
control over the light squares. And yeah, it's starting to look bad
Wow.
for White, no? Like Black is getting
Indeed.
into the game, especially if you find this E5 move.
E5 is the money move. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the pawn break. You mentioned knight C6, a little bit dubious, but
Mhm.
the E5 move now would be justifying this knight C6 move, and it is just so powerful. You just need to hear the word pawn. By the way, in this game, Black said pawn, and maybe Black meant H6, but
Knight.
again, David didn't quite play it, played H5 instead. Now let's hope he says pawn, and David
He
finds
actually
that money move. And he
did,
did
but
say pawn,
B6 was played
and he
instead.
said the pawn he played was B6. Again, the move should have been E5.
And
That
now,
is not
now a
great.
move to my eyes would have been E4 since the H1 A8 diagonal had been opened up. But instead, knight
100%
H3
agree.
was played.
100% agree. Pawn breaks, the life and soul of chess. Pawn breaks,
Mm.
pawn breaks, pawn breaks. I tell my students over and over again, pawn breaks. That's what you're looking for, especially central pawn breaks. That's what it's all about. And especially with all of White's pieces in the game and ready, what's the pawn break that would bring them to life? That move E4. And for Black, of course, E5, as we said. So now we have the move knight H3 instead of the pawn break.
Bishop.
I'm not
And
sure
then
where the knight would have
maybe
gone, which knight they were referring to.
Bishop.
And now pawn again,
yeah.
and A5, the move. So I'm going to talk to David after this about pawn breaks.
Because
That's the lesson he's going to need.
there is okay, the
Queen.
moves they're coming in quickly. Just you said this knight move, and I thought maybe there could be some knight F1 to
Queen.
H2 with the idea of G4. Could have been what was meant. But
Yeah,
yeah, it
that's
could also
a
be
lot of
knight
maneuvering
H3,
going
knight
on.
F4, and then some potential sacrifices later on.
Yeah, that's a lot. Those would be a lot of moves to play. I think that the fact that they've avoided
Go on.
pawn breaks in this game says a lot about their mindset, and maybe they're trying to be less aggressive, maybe holding back because of the import of this game. Not to maybe do anything controversial, but moves were natural to be played, and instead, Queen F4, and now E5.
Wow. Okay.
Stunningly played.
I love the energy. I really do love the energy, even though it seems like it is just
Bishop.
a hanging pawn. But you know, the pawn break we were talking about, it came, and maybe some, I don't know
Pawn.
what
Well, tactically,
Black
you
can
don't lose a
really do
pawn.
here, but
Tactically, you don't lose a pawn after knight takes because the bishop is hanging.
ah,
So
yes.
this would
And
have worked
bishop
out
takes
well.
d7, knight takes d7.
And it may have been Black's intention, but instead, the hand played the other knight and moved it to G4. And that allowed bishop takes, and then bishop takes C6. And now the move F3, and you do not get your pawn back. So a mistake
Pawn.
in a slightly complicated moment, and it has cost Black a full pawn, and the gift of chess is
And a
rolling
very
on.
important pawn that is.
Yes, and they're looking to get their 5th win in a row just to dominate this competition.
But if
And
you're
after knight
Black
H6,
here, I mean, you need some kind of idea. Oh, and also g4. That really
And
hurts
G4
when you're
pawn
off.
break, yes, was
Yes.
played, looking to reopen the
Pawn.
H file. Indeed, well, it was half open all the while, but now it's going to get fully blasted open with this move. And I don't see how you survive this position. B5 played,
Queen.
Trying to
pawn
create some
set,
counterplay with b4, but it seems like it's too late at this point.
and this is going to be a problem. It's going to be a massive problem as Queen G3 check. The knight's going to move out the way next.
Knight.
And once this knight moves either here or here, this pawn is going to hang. This is all over but the crying.
But I have to say, I love how White has played this game these past, I don't know, 7 moves or so. Both taking this pawn, but also this f3, g4. I think it's really nice attack. Some knight g5 now and taking on h5. Oof.
This is just complete crush, and it has occurred. Knight G5 check, King H8, Rook takes. You don't have a move. Mate's coming. Mate's knocking at the door. And sad for Team Nambi, this is going to be the end of the road for them. They have to win. Well,
They
yeah,
had
they
two
pretty
and a
much had
half,
to
yeah.
win.
So it was
Yeah, 2.5. No
must
way
win
you're
or
gonna,
draw. Just
Yeah.
definitely
yeah, at
not
least a draw.
lose.
At least the draw was necessary. They played
Rook.
Rook G8, and now they're just looking
Oh,
to see.
96. Oh,
They missed the
what
mate
a
in two, by the
move.
way. They could have played knight takes f7 here, and then mate would have
Very
been
nice.
finished. But instead, they played the auto rook takes, which you can't blame them. And now rook check, which is crushing, but not mate. As you mentioned, knight e6 was quite powerful there. And you have
And
to
if
take the
takes, there's
rook.
rook h1.
Rook h1, and the rest is coming. But instead, a rook move played and king over, and you can't blame him in this position. It is
No, definitely not.
totally dominating. Rook takes check, and now queen up.
Queen g4.
Yeah, looking for queen e6. I mean,
Queen.
I don't want to criticize, but you know me. We don't want to give the guy a chance when they have any kind of chance. They might
No,
make a
I mean, there
comeback in the
could be
game.
some tricks with bishop d7, and then maybe at some point queen takes g5, run with the king to d8. I don't know if you had to be really, really cynical.
I'm going to agree with you. There's that in the position indeed, except queen b8 was played.
Queen.
And
Oh, but this is mate. This is gonna be mate.
it definitely should be mate, but I think it's gotten a little bit more complicated than it needed to be, because you're not going to win c7, and just attacking with the queen will allow the king to run away. So there is just a tad more drama in this game, or a lot more drama than there should have been.
But I mean, I think White has made a move, yeah?
Queen e6
Yes,
play,
queen e6,
king
king
over,
d8. And
and
taking on c6 with the threat of queen d7 and knight e6 and everything.
yeah, that's no drama
Queen.
for sure. That is killing all the drama in the game. Rook takes g5, queen d7, mate played,
GG.
and the gift of chess has gone a perfect 5-0, and it looks like
That is
Nambi will
impressive.
be knocked out of the competition. Let's go back and see other games that are transpiring. It's kind of funny
Maybe
that was the
the
only game that's over.
Chess2Change
Yes, that's a good one to go
against
to.
business.
Okay. This one's real tight. This one's
Wow, this is
super
strategic.
close. Absolutely. The major pieces, by the way, a chapter in my new course, The Secrets of Chess Geometry 2, The Dance of the Pieces, talks about the major pieces, the main principles that you want to understand and adhere to when you are dealing with the major pieces. And the fundamental one that you want to know is king safety. First and foremost, whose king is safer? Because queens and rooks work extremely well together to attack. I mean, they're just made for each other. Yes, they're the two strongest pieces on the board, but you often hear about queens and knights coordinating well, but queens and rooks are monsters when they start attacking because they just keep pounding away, pounding away. In this position, fortunately for White, there is sufficient protection around the king to prevent the marauding pieces.
Yeah, this
But
f3
White,
move was really strong, making sure that the king could run away.
yes, the
Now I
king
have to
gets the
find a way. King
Nest on
f2,
F2.
I like how White is defending here, because defending is really, really difficult, and I think many
Yeah.
players would have crumbled after a move like rook h6.
Well, here comes the other rook trying to enter the party, which is a really good idea. It is Black who's pressuring the position, no doubt about it, as though this king is safe
But look
where
at
it
Black's
is.
time, 33
And Black's
seconds.
time
Queen.
quite bad indeed. But this game, anyone could win. And now the offer of a queen trade. And let's make this point. You're the one who is trying to address and aggress the king. You don't want to trade queens. Like not unless you're absolutely forced to. And I think queen f4 would be a
Yes.
forcing
Mm,
move, trading queens in this
I
moment.
really like that move. Also because then if Black gets too stubborn, goes back to h5 or something, there's queen b8 tricks in the air. And
Indeed.
that's
And
difficult to, that's easy to miss when you don't have much time on the clock.
looks like the queen trade has occurred, and you see a very unusual pawn structure here. Look at this.
Yes.
I love these kind of structures that are unusual. This pawn had to capture twice for it to happen. You don't see this pawn structure every day. Is it good? I think that it is quite good, in fact, because the pawns shield each other. These double pawns have no problem because they're protected, and this pawn could actually go up the board at some point. So, and even g4 could be played, and then the pawns are really funky. So that is a fascinating setup.
Yeah, with the
Not
pawn
seen
on
every day.
g4, it reminds me of that Tetris piece. If you know what I'm
Indeed.
saying. Yes.
F5 shutting that down. I
like that
exactly
move.
what you're
Yes.
talking about. F5 shuts down the possibility of g4. Probably should have played on the previous move. Now we're in the
Oh, maybe
exciting mode.
g4 can
Black
still
down to
be,
only 13 seconds and needs to play quickly, get that 5-second increment, build up the moves. And White is pressuring as well. Black needs to find a move now. They lost time on the last move, just a little bit. 17 seconds is the bar, right? Can you increase on the bar, Ellen? I think that's what you need to do as Black. Play moves that are not blunders, but don't get under 17 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. But I have to say, I love how they're playing with their pawns right now. I think we're actually seeing quite high quality in this game. White going for a kind of minority attack with a4, b5, and this h6, g5 plan by Black. I really like it. Probably h takes right now. The h pawn could be a potential strong pawn, but there's also some rook e2, rook h1 ideas later on for White.
There's a controversial moment here. White with a slightly better pawn structure. Black now down to 15 seconds. So that's a 2-second drop. They're going to try to build that back up as they get the 5-second increment. But White looking for something special to do. The position's fairly balanced, and whoa, that is huge as a decision to make.
That's a
Do
big
you bypass
decision.
or do you capture? I think bypassing is the more important thing to do. Well done. Great move, but it cost them a lot of time. They're now down to 10.6 seconds on the clock.
Would you trade rooks with Black here?
I think it doesn't quite matter. I don't think you can actually avoid the trade in a great way, but now built back up to 13 seconds. The game is still even. The game is still not a big deal. Just drop your king back, and nicely done, by the way, preventing the rook from having any entry point. And
there's
this
actually the
could easily
possibility
be a
of
draw by
repetition. Yes. But rook e6, Black is playing for it. I have to say I like White's pawn structure, just stopping all rook e5, rook e4, everything. But Black can maybe sometimes play for a d4 move. Rook e7, rook d7, d4. Allows e4. I don't know. It's
that's quite double-edged what you just suggested.
Yes.
Whoa, e3 allowed here.
Yeah, d4 was
would have
a
been strong.
possibility. I don't know.
3 is a weakness. Yeah, like I saw that I'm curious why that wasn't a good idea, in fact, because d4 looked quite strong. And now White has built up a little bit of space, which is not really that significant. Black has built up time on the clock, though. Black is up to 26 seconds, playing quite quickly. So we've kind of evened out in this game.
I think we're going to see a draw here. I think there's going to be some kind of repetition because it's incredibly difficult for both parts to make any kind of improvements.
And as you said that, an
as I
absolute
said that,
blunder
rook
on the
G1.
board. trading
Oh
rooks
my
is
goodness.
devastating because of this
Rook.
outside pass pawn.
And
If
now I
black
think this
trades,
d4
black
idea
is
might
now
come.
winning the game. No question about it, because
King.
black is going to be able to play this move and play d4. And there they go,
Yes,
ruthlessly
wow.
finding it instantly. Now d4 is just winning on the spot.
But it's actually the
Game over.
only
You got to
winning
find it.
move. Yes. But I think
And they didn't find the
find
move,
it. Oh,
allowing
king
king up to
g3.
g3. And now this
White
king
gains
has
time.
counterplay. Incredible, missing the move. And that allows white
King.
to hang on, because now you can't just go with your king this way without allowing white to pick off your H pawn.
King.
You were right about it being a draw.
But I wasn't quite right about the way that it was going to be a draw. My goodness, this is what happens when you don't have a lot of time on the clock. But maybe white went just a little bit too quickly there when they had the advantage on the clock.
You know what happens? King and pawn endings are notoriously difficult to play well. And it can happen that
Yes.
you just misjudge it and think, oh, it's just a trade, and not realize that you've gone into a dead loss ending. And you have to see the pawn stack on d4 as well, with the king marching in and winning the game. Maybe they thought that it was just impossible to break through. Now we are seeing a repetition. It looks like both sides recognizing that there's not much to do, and a
Yes, a
draw
draw.
has transpired. Pretty exciting draw.
Oh,
Let's see if
definitely.
there are any games remaining. There is
We
one
have
game.
one game.
And
Also
this
a
is
rook endgame.
looking pretty
King
dead
d3,
drawn.
I didn't quite understand. I
White
probably
is
would have
about to
gone towards the pawn.
lose a pawn, but this ending is fully drawn. But know your endings. Know your endings. It should be a draw,
I
but you
can't
never
say
know.
I know them. But king f3 here should be good. Just I would always put my king on the same file as the pawn, just to be absolutely sure that I was never going to get cut off in some way.
Absolutely right. This is just a straightforward draw. No Lucena positions are going to happen. Philidor's drawing method applies. And all you have to do is just keep your king where it is and keep the black king cut off. This, though, if you're black, you play for another 10, 15, 20 moves if necessary,
Oh,
looking
50.
for all the possible tricks. Exactly. The 50 move rule applies. As a matter of fact, you can move your pawn after 49 moves and start it again just to torture your opponent. Hopefully they blunder somehow. But it's very hard to blunder this position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are a lot of different ways to defend, but probably in the end, I would say the most easy one would just be some kind of sixth rank defense.
Yeah, most Philidor's drawing method, bring the rook here, keep the king can be back here as much as it wants, but as long as the rook is on this rank, this king is not going anywhere. And if the pawn ever moves forward to somehow give the king shelter, then your rook goes from this rank and goes down and start harassing the king. So that's the entire drawing method. We'll probably see it take place in this game. Black now just spending some time checking. Black wants to play rook over and then eventually play this move. I'm surprised Black is repeating in this moment. I'm sure Black is saying rook and hoping the rook moves away and just gives check to make progress.
What did you say?
Yes, yeah, I was just about to ask if king f4 was threefold repetition, but then I realized it's only the second time because of the
And
checks.
here we go.
Okay,
What
rook
is
h5,
this?
same idea, but maybe king g4, then if black goes rook e5, it's a threefold.
Okay, this rook needs to
I
swing
can't hear you.
and
As
do
far
its
away
thing
from the king as
over
possible.
here, far away as possible. And let's see if it happens now, because rook g5 is going to probably be a threefold. No, not quite just yet. Oh, I'm sure Black is thinking, what do I need to do to get you to move the rook over to a5 instead of repeating moves like this? How sad. Not even giving yourself a chance.
You have to call it a draw.
Yeah, this checking distance, the concept of checking distance is quite important to know, where you have to have the rook more than 2 squares away from the king.
Yeah, we never
So
got a
here
chance
the
to
rook was just a little bit
see it
too far
happen.
away.
So we were talking, let's just show it to the fans in general. This move could have been played, and let's say white waits in this check and the king goes back, and this kind of position, king goes here and check, and the king goes back, and the king goes up and check. And now the rook waits. Well, no, actually, this position is not a good idea. Now this is where the losses can start coming in, because moves start to happen where you could go back.
Yeah,
And here
King
the
G3.
king goes in, then you can check and chase it back. But then you start getting these types of positions where you actually have to know how to draw. Like this position, now you need to know that you need to move your king over here. This is where the position starts to become more interesting, more complex. And if you don't know these draws, then you end up in trouble. This is something black could have played for, to start to test the rook and pawn knowledge in the endgame, because the king actually did get shelter here. And these are famous rook and pawn endings. That's why you got to know your rook and pawn endings, folks. Otherwise, you could lose games that are actually dead drawn. So we now are going to move on, and let's just take a quick look at the standings. As we see, Business Meets Chess Kids is through with 4.5. The Gift of Chess is through with 4. Chess2Change is through with 3.5. And there's a tie, three-way tie. We'll see who makes it out of that with the tie break to see who goes on to the semifinals. But now we do have a special DGT chess clock giveaway, and we are joined by two special folks, Nilssen Mentele, who will be explaining to us the rules of this giveaway, and also Hans Pease, who is the CEO and sponsor of this event, but the CEO of DGT, and the sponsor of this event as well. So both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I just want to know we're through or not. Really? Okay.
I don't know yet. We're looking at you as sitting in a number tie for fourth in the number 6 spot. I don't know if there's any kind of sponsor benefits,
Should be.
or sponsor preference. We'll see what happens with the tiebreak rules.
Okay.
All right, Nilssen, explain to us this special clock giveaway in this really cool.
Basically,
Bringing people together, using the tool of chess to help people to come together, to learn, to develop themselves. All the many benefits chess brings, plus the fun factor, which it's what's better than playing chess. So we really support this all these events that you and Pontus Carlsen are organizing through this charity, and so we're really happy to support. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Listen, let's give Pontus credit. I didn't organize this event. It's all Pontus's on Pontus's shoulders. He's been incredible. I'm always happy to help him as a friend and lend my voice with commentary. It's fun for me, and it is quite a cause that I believe in and support as well. So it's great to see sponsors like yourselves being involved. Listen, do I get to spin the wheel now, Nilssen, or what? Like, I can't wait.
Yes.
Okay, I just have to click.
Yes, you just click on the center of the wheel, please.
There we go.
All right. Wheel. Oh, fudge. No, let me stop. All right, here we go. And bam. We look at that, spinning round and round we go. Where it stops, no one knows, but our winner is.
Ooh,
wow, it was about to be Phoebe Marsh, and it just rolled out, and it's Duco _69. We have a winner. Incredible. That was so close, wild, and quite memorable indeed. Nilssen, how does the winner collect this free clock?
Yeah, so we will definitely be reaching out to the winner via Instagram, just get their details and just organize for them to receive the prize, so that they can claim it.
Those of you who didn't enter, and I count myself as one of them, I guess I couldn't enter. Yeah, that would have been against the rules. But those of you who didn't enter, you missed out. But you can go to the page, Business Meets Chess and Kids. I guess that is the page on Instagram?
That's correct, yes.
And for the future, make sure you follow them and follow all the great giveaways they will have. And of course, these events are going to continue for a long time to come. Hans, we really appreciate you for all that you have done for chess. DGT has been around a long time. What is your year now as a company? Tell me, because it seems like it's been decades.
It's been 32 years thereabouts, yeah.
Wow.
And you may not believe this, but we're still working on innovations, new innovations. We're making an electronic chessboard that will be so cheap that everybody will use it. So more chess being spread in the world. We're making a wireless system as well. So we're still on top of things. Yeah. Continuing.
Incredible. More than
Yeah. Looking forward for
more,
the next 30 years, to be honest.
the
Yeah.
next 30 years.
Yeah.
Indeed, more than 3 decades of excellence has the DGT company been giving us great technology. Everybody, the top players all around the world play on the boards and with the clock, of course. And it's just been incredible to see your longevity as a company in such a competitive environment. Thank you so much, Hans P., CEO of DGT, and Nilssen Mentele, who works with Business and Chess, Business Meets Chess and Kids. And that was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. I'm going to tell my mom, you know what, I'm going to take a photo of the screen so that I can show my mom what I did today.
You're lucky Wheel of Fortune spinner that you are, you know.
That's right. And I'm going to have to use this wheel thing. It looks like something I could use elsewhere. Wheelofnames.com. Pretty cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to jump to see who the qualifiers are.
Please.
Maybe we will take that quick break, unless my producer can tell me something. And I'm not here. Then they're not quite in the system, so the tension mounts. Ellen, we're going to jump back in here any second. Who do you think made it, Ellen? Who's your guess? We know three are in. Who do you think out of the next three will make it? People on 3 points.
Oh, I don't know. Let's say DGT. I have a feeling about that one.
You go with the sponsors. All right, I'm going to be contrarian and say I'm going to go with James Altish's team. I'm going to go with that. James's team. They've played good chess. He's a cool guy, and we'll see. Yeah, we will have a moment. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back to tell you just who have made it to the semifinals, and we'll be underway with those semifinals. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Hello and welcome back to Chess2Change charity chess. This tournament benefiting kids from all over Africa and with business leaders who support them. It has been an exciting 5 rounds so far, qualifiers, and now we are in the semifinals. 4 teams have risen to the top of the totem pole, and we, Ellen, we were wrong about the 4th team.
It's
not the
we
first
definitely
time.
were.
It's not the first time I've been wrong. It certainly will not be the last. And the teams that have actually made it are the Gift of Chess, who made it. Well, Business Meets Chess Kids. Let's start there. Business Meets Chess Kids. They had 4.5 points, so they dominated, and they were clearly going to make it into the semis. The Gift of Chess also made it with 4 points. Chess2Change made it with 3.5 points, and the surprise, Dixon de Photographie, they made it. We have not talked about them at all. And I'm looking at their profile. It's actually, the full name is Team Dixon Deux Yeux Photographie, with Martin Dixon, who is apparently from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I've never heard of this guy, but apparently living in Sweden. He is the founder of the company. And also young Benjamin Kisig-Beji from Nigeria, 12 years old, has represented chess in slums as well. So we have some pairings coming up as well. All right. So we're going to go here, and we're going to switch to final. And here we go. And these are the pairings. And it looks like they started while I've been talking. So let's jump to games. We're going to try to jump back and forth. And let's go to this one right away. And
wow,
how did a white
lot
pawn
of
get to
stuff
B7?
happening already.
In the very opening, that is wild to say the least. Let's just go over the first few moves. If you make, and it was an E4?
E4?
What?
I was sitting here thinking some kind of Benko or something.
Exactly. Okay. Oh, this is how it happened. Gotcha.
Ah,
A6 was played here to try to trade down and then takes.
take on
What a
B7.
beautiful way this position occurred. And now bishop to D2 and rook takes. And after all that craziness, we do have an original position on the
A very
board.
original. I have to say, I
It's not
like this rook
often.
takes B7 move, not being afraid of any knight jumps.
Yes, I agree with you indeed. And I'm sure White is pausing, trying to figure out,
Okay.
is there a good knight jump that does the job? But there aren't any. So finally, just castles was played. White has spent a lot of time, though. 2 minutes and 55 seconds only remaining after 10 moves. So this is good news for Black, who make under the radar for some time in this game, in this tournament, I should say.
I don't know if you remember, but a lot of years ago, Magnus Carlsen, he gave this interview. I think it was during some St. Louis tournament, and he said, if you're one move away from castling, you're usually your position should be good. If you're two moves away from castling, you should be a little bit what's it called? Careful. But if you're three
Right,
moves away
concerned.
from castling, you should be concerned.
Yes,
I can see that
you should be very concerned. And here, White played a wild sacrifice. The move, whoops, something fell on my end. The move B4 here, which is just absolutely wild, and takes, and then knight to D5. What a pawn sacrifice, I'll say. And now bishop to G7, and you expect bishop takes B4 in this position.
Yeah, I will be back in 2 seconds. I can see that I'm struggling a little bit with my camera. So
Yeah, I don't know
yeah,
how it happened
sorry
on your
about
end, but
that.
my lighting fell on my side, and it's like almost simultaneously.
Yeah.
It's one of those quantum entanglement things that just happened to both of us. Maybe it was the move B4 that
Yeah,
caused
we
all hell
like
to break loose
everything was so
on
shocking.
on our side, on both sides. I know, where are you, in Denmark right now?
Yes, I am. I'm at
You're
home
in
in
Denmark.
Copenhagen.
I'm in Florida, and somehow B4 has set us both it's going crazy because one of my lights just literally fell down, and your camera goes. So that's the kind of move B4 was. But let's hopefully no more mayhem after this. But rook to B1, and now threatening to capture this pawn, which you could have captured with a move bishop B4. Just basically getting the rook out of the way. I'm surprised that bishop takes B4 wasn't played immediately, but now the opportunity to play rook takes is quite interesting. White has the better development, to be sure. I mean, that is clear. And as you mentioned, two
But black
moves
is
away
not
from
that far
castling.
off now because knight f6 also challenges the knight on d5.
Yes.
So
Well,
I
challenge is a bit of
think
a strong term because the knight is well
it's
protected.
protected by the pawn on e4 for sure. But I think after knight f6, white has to make some kind of decision about what to do. Do you keep the knight on d5 or yeah?
Well, it's kind of interesting because this pin has been very annoying for some time. And the question of what would you move your queen out of the way, for example, queen b1, to target a pawn that will need protection, right? And allow bishop takes knight. Oh, forget all
But
that.
queen takes a2.
Like I said,
What
like I
is
said, I'm just gonna be
development?
completely greedy. I don't need to worry about no stinking development. And
Oh, but
Magnus
Maurice, there
Carlsen with
was a
his two
threat of
moves
rook
away.
takes b5. I just realized
And
when the queen was on a8 also. And
yeah,
rook takes b5 still.
now, but knight f6 would have managed against that because then you could, well, knight takes would have been answered by a rook, well, or
Rook
knight takes
takes.
e4. Maybe you're right. Maybe that was a bit of a challenge in this position, and it stopped black from just developing because of the worry of this move. But again, knight takes d5, rook takes is playable. Now
Now some castles, queen takes a2.
this pawn
And
is
Maurice,
dead
something
to all right.
incredible just happened because there was an anonymous donation of $1,000 to the Chess2Change charity. That is absolutely incredible.
We appreciate that so much. And if you can give just a little, it's perfectly fine. If you can give a lot because it's within your means, then we are absolutely grateful. This content we're bringing to you is to help these kids. And thank you, whoever that
Queen.
selfless
Absolutely
soul
amazing.
was who made that generous donation of $1,000. That's going to go a long way to helping these kids. Thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts.
And if
Now
you're
Queen
sitting out
H7.
there thinking that you want to support as well, then we can tell that on the Twitch stream, there is a donation link just below the stream. And there should also be sent some links out in the chat
Rook.
once in a while. But as
you
Maurice
can
also
also-
said, a little can go a long way.
You can also type in exclamation mark, followed by charity, or exclamation mark, followed by donate, and that will be effective
Rook.
as well. Well, let's get back to the action.
Let's do
The
it.
move Rook
A5.
played,
now-
and this is
Oh.
scary.
It is.
This is
it really is.
absolutely scary if you are black. A beautiful trap almost of the queen. I love those almost
Bishop.
mates. These are involved in my studies as well, Ellen. Those almost mate to the queen. Like this is a beautiful idea. If we were to push it up a rank, the queen wouldn't have a retreating move. Here it happens to have one retreating move to play, and that is queen back to b8. But that's going to be scary because after c4, this queen could show up with a check here. And also there's a
Nice.
rook a8 sighting with the king not castled as yet. So a scary moment. Queen b8 was played, and queen e2 not noticing the moment, allowing knight to f6. And now, whoa, putting the rook
Oh no.
on a8, allowing, there was a move missed here.
I think knight takes d5 because of the bishop on
Rank was
g7.
open.
But
If you
let's
do
also
this-
just a quick shout out because there was $100 donation from Vines Vibold and $100 donation from Ken Mask. Also a huge thank you. And I'm experiencing camera problems again. Sorry. I will fix it.
No worries at all.
Nice.
All right, we're going on in this game, and there's some tactics being missed left, right, and center as this sharp position has transpired, and it looks as though the material is one pawn ahead for white, but the tactics on this diagonal could have caused major problems as both sides are feeling the pressure. White is now down to only 17 seconds left and is feeling that, and has played,
Queen.
has black the move knight to d7, allowing white
Pawn.
back in the game after a trade. And now white has to be a little bit careful about the back rank, potential bishop c3 and captures here, but the king won't be able to go to f1. So the game has sort of moderated again,
Bishop.
although white is still up a pawn, black has a lot of activity. And I'm going to switch
Pawn.
over to the other game as well that we have not been following. This one, white, what just happened? It looks as though bishop here, and suddenly this what a beautiful instructive moment. Did white find the move? No, the move bishop g6 was an incredible tactic. You
Wow.
cannot take here because of check. That would have
That
been
is
winning
really
on
beautiful.
the spot, and missed in the moment with the move queen to g5. Black now is back. Black could have taken here on b3 and saved everything on this side. Instead, black played takes on c4. By the way, is there a tactic? There is a winning tactic with bishop g6, followed by takes, queen takes, and then no,
the
not
rook.
take, not queen
No,
takes,
rook
rook
h6.
h6. Excuse me, rook h6, hitting this guy.
King.
Oh, that is beautiful, but very difficult to find.
Very difficult to find. Actually, too deep for words, because this, and
Yeah, I was
this
thinking actually
threatening
rook
everything.
f6. Oh, wow.
And there's just a lot of threats. Maybe rook to defend rook.
Bishop.
And now you're down a piece. Actually, now I'm not
King.
even sure you're winning anymore. I'm not even sure. No, it doesn't look
No,
like
it looks crazy.
works out into anything. So that's a crazy idea that could have happened, though. Instead, just simply takes, and black is for
Pawn.
choice. All the way around, black is for choice.
Oh,
And it looks as
be3
though
opening up.
the gift of chess is in big trouble
King.
here with the black piece is
And
swarming.
c5.
Nice move.
Wow, very
That's
nice.
a bone cruncher, in fact. You think you're attacking. Guess who's attacking in this position? King c3 played. That's not going to be a good idea. Once his bishop moves, then capture, then rook. I'm not even sure if captures is a bad move now, but why bother when you can save your bishop and then start just all-out assault on black's king, on white's king, that is.
I think there's almost not a move in this position that should be winning for black at this point. Probably even just taking on d4, but bishop c2, there's no reason to make it more complicated than it should be. Now the threat of taking on d4 and rook c8, this is over. And
The difference of the
plenty of
kings.
time.
Yeah, the difference of the kings tell in this position. This one is absolutely
Yes, sir.
busted, and black has more than enough time. White did play f3, and now c takes d4. And what are you supposed to do? I mean, this is just tragic.
King.
Nothing to do. Mate's coming. The queen's going to land on
King.
d4 with a thud. You have to say king. I mean, your king has to move, and then queen takes d4, and that's going to be all she wrote. There's just nothing else you can even
King.
think about here. Black can even try to be evil and play this move and just trap the king between the rooks. But why bother when you actually have queen takes on d4, which was actually played? And this is going to be curtains. This is the end of the road for the gift of chess. Note that this is knockout phase, and Chess2Change will enter the finals after this. Let me go back to the other game. And this one is currently dead even, Ellen.
Wow, rook
What just
takes
happened?
f4.
What?
I
Oh,
think,
they
yeah,
thought that they were losing material here.
yeah, and it's not easy to see why you aren't, right?
Well, d5 actually hangs knight takes, but then you can move
Yes.
your rook.
Then there's space for the rook. Wow.
And there's space for the rook. So d5 was definitely playable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, d5
Not
was
an
playable.
easy
There's
move to
some
spot.
tricks with like knight here, threatening check if you take the rook. So that was possible as
wow.
well. d5 looked like the simplest, but then there's some tricky business. But instead, after this move, rook takes, and white is crushing in this position.
But what
I
would you
mean,
say?
business.
Yeah, white is crushing, but what would you say that the winning chances are? Because white's pawns, they are far away from each other. Black does have an extra pawn, a lot of king activity.
I would say that black has fair chances, a little less than fair chances to make a draw, because this knight is so powerful, you can't chase it, and this pawn is defended. So white actually has to come up with the right strategy here to win the game.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
check, not
But
clear.
now white didn't get an active king, because I think king e6 was a very, very strong move with the rook on a4, because then the black king would have been completely cut off.
I'm in 100% agreement. This position is technical to work with. Clearly, the rook is superior, but winning this position,
Yeah, it's not
I'm
so
actually
easy.
struggling to find a winning plan now.
Yeah,
What?
I'm thinking the same. I don't. Maybe you get the
That's-
rook to e8, rook e6 check, and then you try to see if you can because you want your king on e6, right?
Yes, I would have. You could have just played rook e1, I thought, and just go for this immediately and see what you get out of it. But
But it's not a lot. Oh, but now once
no.
again king e6.
And by the way, king h4 here wins a pawn. Like the more pawns go off the board,
wow.
the more likely it is that you draw this game. Even if you pick off my pawns, as long as I can get these two, it's a draw.
Yeah,
Instead,
definitely.
king forward, and here rook over
King f3?
the inch is
Like
giving an X, and
going.
nothing wrong with king f3. Taking this guy and then aiming for this guy in a few moves. You can play h4, knight g3, and then bring the king over and pick that off. Instead, king back to g5, and again, refusing king e6.
King f4 again. Bring that king forward. King f3.
Not,
Oh, now
not
king
wanting
e6.
to,
King
but
e6. White
now
found
king
it.
e6 has happened, and now d5 in desperation, jettisoning this pawn, but that king should have been active. Coming
And
down
now,
board here.
yeah.
Now you just
Now
lost
white
the
wins a
pawn for
pawn.
no reason. So it looks like business meets. But by the way, we should note the clock is the factor. They're trying
it
to play
really
quickly
is.
and not make mistakes.
Knight.
But the clock is just such a real factor here. I still think
King.
drawing is possible, but it's looking really bad at the moment.
Knight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now the
Remember,
threat
there's
of
a knight
rook
on the board.
g3.
And you know with knights, anything could
True.
happen. We've all been victims of knight forks.
Oh, a little too many times in my opinion. But I think
Pawn.
maybe White can bring the king to f7 and play some rook
Pawn.
a6 when the time is right. But then
I
there's knight
completely agree.
h4. I don't know.
King.
The king needs to be here,
Yeah.
and then some kind of cutoff if possible. And then at the right moment, you go for this pawn. But you have to wait until this knight is on the wrong square, this king is on the wrong square.
Knight.
So this rook
Yeah,
should
I
be
really like
here,
this this move, rook a4. I think that's very
but with
nice.
no time on the clock, and it just continues to tick down. And now driving the king away.
Right.
This was important. Now this is just busted. Now there's a problem. The
King.
king is getting mated even. Oh my goodness.
Knight.
Oh, king g7 was disgusting. I mean, rook here was fatal. Instead, the king dropped back. And
Knight.
what is black to do
I know.
here? Well, black is losing a piece because that's actually a mate threat and the knight's hanging. There's nothing to do. Knight f6, give me that.
Pawn.
And that's game. And business
Luckily, no
meets-
stalemate.
No
Without the
stalemate,
pawn
no
on-
thank you.
Yeah.
And mate on the
Okay,
board,
everyone.
business meets
Congratulations,
chess.
business
And
meets
kids
the,
have moved
Chess and
on.
Kids.
Let's jump to the other
Qualifying
game.
to the final. Congratulations.
And it
That
looks
was
like
a draw.
this
team of
game
Dixon
ended in a
on the
draw.
left round
Now,
of the
what
tournament,
happens
and
in the case of a
once
draw?
again,
That I
Benjamin
was
Great
not
Games.
told. We're going to get bonus chess. What's
Okay,
going on?
so
Let's see
Alvin
how it
and
ended, though,
Jamie
Ellen.
Nicole, please stay in the room for the
It's
Armageddon
going to
game.
be, we've been told it's an
match.
Armageddon. How did this game end in a draw? How did White survive this position? We go back.
That's
to this mo-
insane.
I think the other
We had
match
sick
finished
arrows
in a
being
draw, so
drawn
they will need to
everywhere.
play,
And
time
black-
And
back.
Black was playing it so nicely.
Okay, black's winning like with just about anything. F4 was good enough. Rook here, bishop. What?
G4
What?
to give a
And what?
check. But
Okay.
why?
Black had only 5 seconds on the clock in this moment here. Everything wins, including trading queens. Queen F3 is very simple and nothing to think about afterwards. Instead, black just hurried up and continued to make rook moves. And that's how the draw happened. They walked into a
Wow.
repetition.
If Chess2Change
What a
they
disaster.
don't win the Armageddon, I think they're going to be quite upset with themselves.
Chess2Change had the chance to knock out Gift of Chess and repeated moves under the pressure of the ticking clock. And now we get to Armageddon bonus chess. I don't know what the Armageddon rules are, Ellen. Ever since you've come on the stream, all heck is broke loose. I'm sure it's you.
I'm sorry. I bring chaos with me everywhere I go. It's like in my own chess games, you know, it's not like I try to create chaos. It's just like it's attracted to me somehow. I don't know.
Well, I was kidding, but now you've justified it. So maybe it is indeed true. But we definitely have some madness happening here. I don't know how this game ended in a draw. Look at the position. The White King marched all the way from this side of the board and came over somehow and made it up here somehow around here. And the game ended in a draw, piece and 3 pawns down. Wow. Insane. All right, well, we are going to see, as we said, some bonus chess. And the Armageddon should be starting at any moment. Go back to final. No, this is all we have. I don't think they have to do anything special to set them up. They're already in the room. And we go to Armageddon. This is crazy. By the way,
Personally,
what was-
I love Armageddon, especially with Norway Chess that has really taken Armageddon to the next level. How many Armageddon games have you played in your life, Maurice?
Well, I'm old enough to have not been a part of this whole Armageddon movement. So, you know, I'm going way back. I retired quite a long time ago when Armageddon wasn't a thing. So yeah, but I do believe Armageddon is a great thing in chess. And I personally like the bidding. I love the bidding system. When who wants to get black? Let's see how low you're willing to go. A lot of players will go so low that they have black and they don't have enough time to play against their opponent. So that to me is the most entertaining, especially the 10-minute version of Armageddon.
And we're getting told that the rules for the Armageddon is 5 minutes for white and 4 for black with no increment. And
That's
this
how
is,
Armageddon should be.
wow, you have to be quick when you're playing without increment.
And I'm old enough to know the days before increment as well, Ellen. So that's how we used to play. You know, like increment, so what? I personally like playing bullet chess. Of course, there's no
I
increment
love.
in bullet and no +1 bullet nonsense. No. Bullet. Hey,
Bullet.
you
I
go down,
completely agree.
your hands are shaking by the end, you're like time is ticking down. And there's nothing better than mating somebody with like 0.3 seconds on the clock.
No, I love
No
it. That's actually the best way. Well, I think the best way to win is actually to flag your opponent. I'm that kind of person, I have to
Oh, you're
say, but
ruthless.
I am.
Oh, that is so cold. That is the worst way to lose, though, when you're playing and you're winning
Yes.
easily, and then all of a sudden they're fighting, and you're like, "Wait, where's the mate? Where's the mate?" And then you look, oh, your clock is about to tick down, and just when you're about to mate, you move your hand too quickly, your mouse doesn't quite hit the piece properly, and you lose on time.
Especially when it's like you have a queen and the opponent only has a pawn and you don't manage to take the pawn in time and you hate it.
That's the worst.
But it's
That
so
is,
good when it
yeah.
happens the other way around.
Clearly, we've been playing too much bullet. That's obvious.
Well, I have retired from bullet many times, but I regret nothing.
I feel you because that's all I do these days, and it's really quite sad. But I just the bullet's my thing. I got to do something for the adrenaline rush.
Yeah,
All right,
it is an addiction. It really is.
It is an addiction. It's a bad. Let me just say to all the kids out there, it's a bad addiction.
Yes.
It's really, really bad, and it's for players like me and Ellen who are not playing serious chess anymore in our lives. If you really want to be a serious chess player, bullet's not the way to go. And if you really want to retire from chess and play just for fun, bullet's popcorn.
Well, tell that to Alireza Firouzja. I don't know. I don't know how bad it actually is because you're spending a lot of time on chess when you're playing bullet. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying there are people who clearly know how to manage it somehow.
I don't know. Spoken like a true bullet addict.
Exactly.
Alireza, we thought might have been challenging Magnus Carlsen for the #1 status in the world. Maybe I'm just saying he's playing too much bullet instead of studying his end games. I'm not pointing at you, Firouzja, Alireza. You know I love you, but I'm just saying. I mean, crushing it at bullet is not helping you dominate. Not in the top 6 in the world anymore. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
So, at any rate, bullets. I mean, obviously the top players also play bullet quite well. People like Magnus and Hikaru, for example.
I don't know if you've seen the bullet brawl, but I'm looking at the bullet brawl and I'm really thinking these players are better at bullet than I am at classical chess.
Oh yeah. No, they're sick. They're so absolutely good. Instincts off the scale, moves that are just flowing out their neurons and just in half a second, and they're brilliant moves. They're just absolutely brilliant moves. It's incredibly impressive to see. And what Aravind just did to Bortnik, not Aravind, what Alireza just did to Bortnik. I mean, numbers like that should be made illegal. Like he just took the guy out in the back and just, hey, come take some. How can you be up like 10-1 in a bullet match? Like what? 10-1?
Especially
I saw
against
that number.
someone
I just
like
like close your eyes, against Bortnik. That seems totally obscene. All right. We've got a second game afoot, I believe.
We do, but before we start talking about that one, let's also quickly remember to say thank you because we're getting even more donations and it's so amazing. We have donations from Divya Krishna, Sheta Ravishankar, Jennifer Shahade, Benjamin Johnson, and Vascar Velos. And that's a big, big, big thank you for the support.
We absolutely appreciate it. This game was aborted. I looked over the clock times and I saw 5 and 5. And I said, this is an Armageddon game. That should not be the case. So that was a little bit of an mix up there, an error on their part. And we will wait again to restart these critical semifinals. I can't imagine how nervous the players are right now. They're ready to go. They know this is a knockout. You're going to get kicked out of the tournament, or you move on to the finals. You start the game and then you're told, wait a minute, how bad? We've got to start over. We've got to start over. You're like, come on, that's not right. It's like psych, when somebody like is gonna give you some candy or something here, and like
just take it away. But I have to say, nerves in chess, it's really important to have nerves of steel. And I think, speaking of nerves of steel, the game might be starting. Yes, the game it has started. They must, like you said, they must be nervous. And it's difficult in chess when you're sitting in such a high pressure situation. And once again, we're seeing a London system, but now Black has also tried to mirror what White is doing.
Let me point out, by the way, that when you're playing hand and brain, you have to communicate to your partner your piece. They have to move as quickly as possible. Now imagine a 5-minute blitz game where you're playing by yourself and you don't have a lot of time, right? Like you just don't have a lot of time. Now imagine that you have to communicate to someone. They have to process what you said and make a move themselves. And you only have 5 minutes. This game is not lasting 50 moves, folks. There's like no way, because you can't talk that fast or process that quickly. It's just not going to happen. They're making a go of it, only 9 moves in, and Black's already down to 328 on the clock. This is going to get frenetic quickly.
Yeah, it really is. I'm almost thinking that when you're playing hand and brain, if you're not playing with increment, your time is pretty much just half of what you have. If you have 5 minutes, it might just only count as 2.5 in my book. So you have to be really, really fast, because both players, they have to process the position, what to play, and the communication, as you're saying. We saw a trade on G3, but this time it was after White had castled.
Indeed. I wonder who's going to be hyper aggressive here. It's Chess2Change with the white pieces and a substantial clock advantage, which could evaporate at any moment. The gift of chess with the black pieces. And now a very odd move, knight to b4. It's a square the knight does not have much of a future on. It looks like a wasted move. A5 play, chasing the knight. I personally would have not cared where the knight was, and I would have gone about my business just playing regular moves. But Black did gain basically 2 free moves being able to play that. But now the move, F6, what a pawn move. Maybe he meant E5 for the pawn break instead of this move. This last move, F6, looked a little bit compromising of the advantage. Now bishop to E4, offering a trade. And here the game is getting very complex, Ellen.
Yeah, I have to say I'm loving Black's positions. Ideas of H5 and G5 and H4. Also ideas of E5, as you mentioned. This is my cup of tea, really.
I see you're dynamic and wild in your chess. Now,
solid
yes. And boring, that's good.
That's also why I play bullet. Just throw those pieces forward.
And those are definitely those kind of moves. A trade in the middle of the board, and now the knight will most likely be dropping back to attack the pawn. This pawn is under threat. Makes a lot of sense to just defend it with F5, and that has been done. 2:59 on the clock for White. White had a lead a moment ago, but now Black has caught up in time. Remember, a draw for Black wins. And so Black doesn't even have to play hyper-aggressive chess. Black just has to make a draw. Any kind of a check to the king. Now G6 attacking. Will the queen hang out in the sector? All right.
Oh, interesting.
Make some hay with queen G7 hitting this rook. That seems quite interesting. Now Black just played B5, and that does allow this knight to go into maybe a sacrificial mode. Most natural is to bring the knight back, which I think would be what White thinks about here. but white has to win the game. And knight e5
Jumping
played.
e5. I mean, you
What a
can
move.
argue that after d takes e5, black gets the file and so knight to d4.
And now this was the trick, but it
Queen
allows knight
g7.
f7. That allows knight f7, and white is cooked. White is busted. White is now down a piece, having to win this game. White made a blunder of queen to g7. Queen was said and had to be moved, but it was a tragic error. And now white in big trouble, down on clock, down on time. Down on clock and time, yes. Both, yes. And indeed, down on position as well in material. Can white make a comeback?
I doubt it, but maybe when time gets low. Queen e7, I love this move.
Was nasty.
Yeah, it really was.
Trade queens and go for an endgame. Good luck coming back from this one.
Rook.
The gift of chess just rolling in this position, Alan.
Knight.
And knight
d6 also going to f5. I love the way that black is playing this position. You know, in my mind, I was going like h5, h4, but I now admit that there are other ways to win in chess than checkmating.
Oh no! Look where the rook. Oh, I hate rooks on those kind of squares. Oh man, it could get trapped somehow, but it looks okay for now. It's eyeing this pawn, so you can't quite play knight to f5, which has been played. Oh, the point being rook takes e4 is met by knight takes g3 with some tricks.
But king f2?
King f2.
Rook,
I don't like any of this for white now. Rook to f8. And now the capture played. And that allows a discovery.
Knight d6?
There's knight d6.
There's also
knight d6 might allow rook f4. But that's even better. Hitting the
E3.
rook
wow.
on f1, hitting the knight on c2, but definitely the rook is cooked right now. Just take it, and this is all she wrote. White is hoping against hope that black doesn't win on the clock. Like black is going to flag, is what I'm going to say. That is the only hope white has in this position.
Yeah, so white needs to play a lot quicker, in my opinion.
Yes.
But okay, also if you play too quickly, you might just lose all your pieces.
But which is happening right now.
Yeah,
which is exactly what's happening on the board. Everybody is going. Now you can just take the rook on e6 if you want to. You could also move your rook, but you could take the rook on e6 and say, I'm up a rook. Like, what are we doing here? I'm up a rook. You have a measly knight. Your knight can't even get back out into the game because of my bishop. I just bring my rook in, which is happening. There's an extra rook. White is totally dead, and I don't know how you play for any tricks in a position like this one. You just can't bring your pieces into the fight. I mean, this is just terrible. And here comes the king.
King f5 to g4.
All right, the knight's still trapped over here, and even if it came out, it's not going to have any future as the rook has now penetrated into the position. They're going to be yummies to chase down on both sides of the board. This one's over without any question about it. And plenty of time on the clock. Are we going to see a rook sacrifice here? No.
Just taking on f3, you mean?
Okay.
And then and bishop f4. Oh, okay, bishop f4 is too much.
No, the bishop can
I
just
was
come
trying
around
to be
here to be fancy.
Yes.
But this is completely over now, just up a piece with nothing to worry about. Black with 50 seconds on the clock. That's the difference. Just take that pawn. Just take it.
Now you can take it.
Take it. There you go. Bishop takes. And that is that. No counterplay possible here, as these two pawns are going to scream down board and make it way too easy. And you have no chance of creating a pass pawn on the other side. That would be the only hope. White down to 16.5 seconds. Even if white could figure out counterplay, this position is dead. And here comes the king headed to the, well, king here would have just pushed the pawn
Promoted
through.
the pawn, yes. I
But
like to call that the
8.8 seconds
highway
left.
when I teach chess. With the king on h2, and then there's a highway for the pawn.
There you go. Well, this highway is going to be bad news, as white's going to get run over by a Mack truck in this position. as white just has nothing to do. 1 second down, and time has run out. The winner is Gift of Chess. Moving on to the finals, and Chess2Change gave it a valiant effort, but that blunder just couldn't come back. So we have our finals. We have the Gift of Chess meeting Business Meets Chess Kids in our finals matchup. This is incredibly exciting, amazing Armageddon game. So bonus time as well. We're going to get this pairing. I don't know who gets what color in the finals, how that works. Gift of Chess had black both games, and Business Meets Chess Kids had white. So maybe they'll switch colors for the finals. But Ellen, this has been thrilling to watch, and I can't wait for this last game.
No, I think I'm very excited. I feel a bit sorry for Chess2Change. I mean, they must be kicking themselves after making a draw in the first game and then losing the Armageddon. It's very, very bitter. But that's what happens in chess. That's why we both love and hate chess at times. It can be very challenging, but then it's good that you're on a team so that you can lift each other up and support each other even during the tough times.
Wait. I think you have it backwards because
I do?
Yeah, Chess2Change. The Gift of Chess was winning this game. They're the ones who made the draw. Wait, that's not the game I'm talking. Wasn't they the one who made the Gift of Chess?
No, I'm pretty sure Chess2Change, they were
oh no, you're right. It was
yeah.
Chess2Change. You're 100% right. My fault. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Just,
so then
it's sometimes I've noticed that before. Sometimes on chess.com you have to click the game to see who was actually what color.
To see what color. No,
Yeah.
your memory was correct, 100%. And yes, you're right. Chess2Change was supposed to win this one. They gave up the draw, and here they ended up bowing out. That really does suck.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Well, that's how chess works. And we've been around long enough to see that happen many times. I'd say to folks, if you want a good laugh, and you just have to get my morbid sense of humor, you want a good laugh, just stand right outside the tournament hall, because there will be people coming out saying,
yeah.
And it gets me every time. Like, great. Because that's the way chess works.
There's this video, tell me you're a chess player without telling me you're a chess player. And I just cannot believe that there's not a single person in that video who doesn't say, I was completely winning. Because that's how you recognize a chess player, even though they don't tell you they're a chess player, because there will always be someone who was completely winning.
More than someone. Are you kidding? How many of us have said it? And it happens multiple times. If you have a giant tournament hall, I was winning has to be at least 30%.
75%.
You said 75.
I say 75.
Okay. Maybe I'm giving credit to, like, GM level kind of thing. But if you're talking about an open tournament with lots more players of varying levels, yeah, it's a big number. It's a big number for sure. I mean, everybody knows they were better. Everybody's preparation worked. They were doing great in the middle game. They were up a pawn. Maybe they, might have even gotten a piece, but the player had counterplay. Anything and everything could happen. And I was winning it's probably the one biggest complaint in all of chess. And that's why you have to forgive yourself, because guess what? Chess is hard.
And it happens to everyone. It does.
Everyone. I might bring up a famous game in Norway between two pretty good players. There was a banging of tables, and somebody was winning.
Somebody was definitely winning, and someone was also a little bit upset about not winning that particular game.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a funny moment.
It happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us and the best of us. That's just how chess works. Chess is hard. But yet we simply come back time and time again and suffer the difficulties. Like, it's just what we do. All right. When we're down to this final game, it will be a beautiful matchup between two great teams that have come down. It has come down to this, and the gift of chess will play against Business Meets Chess Kids.
And
We're
Business
going
Meets
to.
Chess Kids has really been dominating.
They have. They're the favorites for sure to go through and win it
Yeah.
all. But will they be able to? I mean, this is a second life for the gift of chess. They have an opportunity to make it. We'll be back literally, folks, in a minute. Don't go anywhere, as the thrilling finals will be beginning right on the other side of this break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am Maurice Ashley. She, although we're not seeing her on camera at the moment, is the lovely Ellen Nilssen. And trust me when I say that. Right now, we are in a heavy battle, Ellen, as we see the finals here. Here is Business Meets Chess and Kids against the gift of chess. The winner takes it all. And right now, Black is looking quite rambunctious as they are putting a lot of pressure on this center pawn with the last move, bishop g4. They're also willing, by the way, to play the move g5, weakening that king, but for a very solid reason.
Yeah, I mean, this is completely crazy. Business Meets Chess Kids have been dominating through the entire tournament, and I mean, I can't understand what's going on in this position. This h6 g5 looks very, how do I say it? Very interesting, but also good at the same time to me. Knight d4 putting pressure on the knight on f3. What's white supposed to play here? Maybe knight d2? Yeah, to protect the knight on f3.
Only move. Now you're just defending the position, and you made some great points as the power of these pieces are just percolating right now. Look at this bishop on the long diagonal, the knight putting pressure here. A pin you cannot get rid of, super annoying. This knight hitting the pawn on e4. This rook putting pressure as well. Black's pawn structure is compromised, but what are you going to do about it? Like, so what? We're not worried in any way, shape, or form. And Black, if Black gets to make a couple of moves, White is going to be in real trouble. White has to somehow figure out how to create any kind of counterplay. I'm not sure where to
any
even
plan.
point.
Yeah, where to begin?
I don't know where to look. I'm looking around for a move. for white, h3
Bishop.
doesn't really do anything, as I'll just chillax on h5, and you maybe even created a hook for me in the future.
Yeah,
White
maybe
basically
you
has
you have to
to
accept
play
this
solid
double
and
pawn
wait.
at some time. Oh, bishop a5. Wow.
Whoa,
The
a
threat of bishop
very
takes d2. This is
concrete
deep.
threat. Wow. Very concrete threat of taking. And because of this pin, your knight cannot capture back. And then a capture on this square will win material. That's the move that you play
I love
casual
how
against.
I love how black is playing.
And,
I would be
they have been a
fine.
dominant team
Queen.
so far. The gift of chess. And I'm going to tell you, Business Meets Chess Kids, I had them picked as one of the potential winners because Arvin Rosti is 21.95 and Jamie Nicole is 17.27. But man, they are getting pasted
Knight.
now in this game.
And
And
queen
knight takes f3.
c1 allows knight takes f3 as the rook on e1 is hanging. This has been
But
an incredible strategic game so far.
but that was only winning a pawn. It looked like pawn takes was possible instead of knight takes.
Knight.
Yeah, pawn takes on the previous move.
Because of bishop
Here.
takes d2 and bishop takes f3.
Yeah, forcing you to do this. It's still better for you,
Knight.
but this is not nearly as bad as it could have been.
No, that's right.
Here, if you take on f3 with the bishop, now
Yeah, and
you have to
now
give me.
now it's a piece.
Now it's an exchange because I can play knight takes, and then we trade off here, and then you take here, and then even worse, you take the d5 pawn, and then it just gets worse. This was absolutely totally crushing
Knight.
as a sequence, but instead we got this capture, which should have been taken with a pawn. Then we got this knight capture, and now we have transposed somewhat, and black is simply up a clean exchange.
Bishop.
Yeah,
with
very
some hope,
clean.
though. With some distant hope, trying to survive. Once a line opens up, once a file opens up, white is going to get cooked. But it's not as bad as it could have been.
I do like this knight h5 move though, because black has played this h6 g5, essentially becoming a little bit weak around the dark squares. But now with this knight h5 killing off the bishop on g3, so that in the future the potential counterplay will be less. White played h3, so that after black took on g3, f takes g3 had to be played. So now the pawn structure is also not looking great for white.
Yes, I do believe, though, that this knight has some future somewhere. Like if we somehow could get to this square.
Yeah, that would be great.
With this bishop traded off, that would make us feel a little bit better. But the problem now for white is the clock. I mean, the clock looks okay. And now the bishop has gone off in this direction, and we'll go to this square again. I'm trying to get this knight to a great square, but the bishop is going to interfere with that. So that's also an issue. Queen c4, queen e7, and there goes the
Knight
knight.
c2, yeah. Getting the
Okay,
knight.
the
There's
knight's
some
headed
rook
places.
f1.
And then the rook. You see, not now.
Yeah, okay. The counterplay is
something,
starting.
something.
We can kind of feel it, but white's time is a little bit down.
White's
But at
time is
least now the
definitely
moves are getting
bad.
easier.
Yeah, these moves definitely look quite impressive. And knight f5, and also, and now b5. I don't like that move, creating a substantial weakness on this square. Substantial weakness. It's like little things that black is doing that leading to problems and difficulties that may add up to real counterplay for white. Remember, white has a knight that cannot be opposed. Black has a rook that cannot be opposed. However, there are no open files as yet for that rook. And without an open file, the rooks don't mean anything. They just don't mean anything. The rook has to be active for it to count. So here we see white's knight arguing that maybe I'm going to be as strong as your rook, as one of your rooks. And by the way, I should point out, the gift of chess, playing the black pieces, is Mahmoud Rushdie. And now f6, it gets worse. I'm saying those squares are weakening. But Mahmoud Rushdie who's a chess trainer and chess player from Egypt. It doesn't say what his level is. He's an ambassador of the gift of chess to Egypt. And Vava Blessing is playing with the black pieces. He's from Nigeria, 14-year-old. And now white has got the knight where white wanted to. And now isn't that a pawn just hanging? White's back.
Nice.
We were talking about that knight as a fantasy piece,
Oh
Ellen,
my
but the knight.
goodness.
This
The
turned
knight.
around.
Oh, this is incredible.
It really is. It
And
really
the
is. The
rook,
knight
I
was
mean, rook f1 in this position. Because I was
Yes.
going to ask you what you thought that Black's plan should be to open up some files exactly for the rooks, but this h6 g5 is controversial at best, I'd say.
I'm very sad that the rook has not moved yet, by the way. That rook should have moved a long time ago. Finally, was
Yeah.
forced to.
Mm.
I see a lot of kids, my students included, they somehow hate the rook on a1. The rook on a1, the rook on a8 is like, I'm finished developing. That rook doesn't have to be in the game. It's like, what are you doing? Bring the rook in the game. It's such a common thing with youngsters that they don't bring the a1 rook or the a8 rook into the game. And now here comes Black trying to do the same. Knight to e6, though, plugging up the one open file and challenging Black to chase that octopus knight out of that square.
I don't even know what to do with Black. You have to challenge the knight on e6 somehow, but if you go to f7, okay, knight takes e7, maybe there's some rook c8, but the knight could go back to d4. What's Black's plan? Is it some f5 or?
Black definitely has to challenge this beast in here. I mean, this is going to be a problem. This queen, by the way, could find a c6 square. So some of your pawns could end up being weak. By the time you win this, these two pawns may have dropped off the board. So you have to be really careful. That's why I didn't like this move b5 earlier. That could be challenging. And remember I talked about the knight being the center of a moving circle? This knight started here. And it made one of these beelines to here, to here, to here, to there, to there. I mean, knights are funny pieces when you watch them, and they control so many squares. I mean, the knight controls all these squares in the enemy territory, and somebody can back. And there's that circle I was talking about. I talk about it in the Secrets of Chess Geometry. The knight is the center of a moving circle. It's the kind of piece. Once you know how to visualize it, you just see its possibilities. And here, white has been using it, and now bishop back allows what could have been a
e5.
Five hitting the queen would have been huge.
But
this
Maurice,
position.
look at the time. I can understand why white didn't find e5 because 24 seconds. This is getting interesting.
Look at this tactic. White could have taken. And this is not
King
easy
F2
to see.
And
this is definitely not at all easy to see. Look at this knight.
And there's not a mate on e3 because of the knight on f5.
No,
wow.
this is insane. This is like would have been insane chess. This move to be met by this and this. No way. That's some sick variations. Instead,
King H2
after bishop takes
played.
Now bishop e6 once again allowed e5. And now white is cruising along, winning a piece in this position.
Oh God.
This knight, I'm telling you about
that
knights, folks.
Wow. Yeah, we talked about it earlier.
Knights. You have got to study knights. They are criminal pieces. Absolutely. They just spin around the board. They run on circuits. If you don't see the circularity of the knight, you'll miss things all of a sudden. And the knight's like, hello, here I come. Not just basic forks, but also intricate maneuvers as well. And white is crushing. But white only has 13 seconds left on the clock to play out the rest of the game. And white did not take the piece on e6.
Yeah, white tried to play a little bit more.
There's a tactic.
A little bit more
there's there's a take on e6
oh,
and a take
no,
on e8.
white lost on time.
And white has lost on time in a winning position.
Oh no.
Knight takes e6, folks, was winning. Look at this.
Good game.
Oh, that's such a shame.
And in the
They
end,
really
the gift
managed
of chess.
to create some insane counterplay with the knight there. And you can also tell the disappointment on their faces, a few smiles also, but in the end, it is the gift of chess that wins.
And they were supposed to lose in the last round.
They really had a guardian angel on their shoulders today.
Thank you so
made it.
you.
This is what we love about chess. Anything could happen. And in this one, anything did. But congratulations to Mahmoud, Rushdie, and Baba Blessing. They are the champions of the Chess2Change Charity Chess Tournament 2025, or at least the spring version. I guess it's summertime now. I'm talking spring. We did break spring just a few days ago, about a week ago. So they won. They did it, but not without, like you said, a guardian angel on their side. This was indeed the final position, I believe. This
and
one.
we're joined by the gift of chess. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
This was a up and down battle for you guys. You got to admit, this was a wild ride. You were getting crushed in the previous round, and you managed to save the game with a perpet. You guys look like you have smiles on your face, like there was some kind of guardian angel. Tell me, please, first of all, Mahmoud, what was the experience like playing in this event?
Oh, it was terrible. We enjoyed. We really enjoyed. First of all, I want to thank the organizer of this event. It was very fun and exciting, and it was so nice to be with you, Maurice. It's a very special moment for me, especially. And thank you for this tournament and for this experience. It was so fun, and I really enjoyed.
Baba, if I may, Baba, if I may, what was it like playing with your partner, and how hard was it with being the brain, with him being the hand?
Sir?
I said, how hard was it playing this event with your partner, and what was the experience like for you?
I really like it. It was interesting.
Did you have any trouble that you saw a move that your partner didn't see, or he played something that surprised you?
The first person that played with me, I have that confused, but now, no more.
You all got down to the wire in that last match. That was the one that got you here. And you must have just been jumping up and down, Mahmoud, when you made that draw, and then you managed to win the Armageddon.
Yes, it was so interesting moment because my opponent partner, the brain, she is confused by the time travel, and since she replied, so Baba told me queen directly, so I repeated to get the draw.
Absolutely. It was a crazy moment for us because we saw you were losing. How your king marched to the other side and survived that craziness is insane. Baba, what does it mean for you to play in this competition? How special is it for you to play in this competition?
It was difficult, but it was also interesting. Like we say only the piece, and they move to where they're supposed to move it to, but it was hard, but it was interesting.
Indeed, it was definitely interesting for us. We want to thank you, and once again, congratulations. You are the champions. That's never going to change. You'll have this title for the rest of your lives.
Thank you. Well done, Baba. You are the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
right,
huge
we will let you go
congratulations.
celebrate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, everyone, if you have enjoyed this program, you've enjoyed watching, you've enjoyed seeing the kids display their fighting spirit, please, whatever you can give, no amount is too small. Anything you can donate, there are ways to do so, whether it's exclamation mark donate, exclamation mark charity. There's links in the Twitch chat. We really appreciate your generosity. We've had a great time here. I also want to thank my partner, my second partner in crime after Peter Svidler. First of all, he started off the show with some incredible insights. Typical Peter, gave us some great lessons as well. I want to thank Grandmaster Svidler for joining. And then closing it out, Ellen, I know it's late where you are in Denmark, but we really appreciate it. Ellen Nilssen coming on the show and being with us and providing your insights as well. I know your camera started having some difficulties, so people can't see you smile and light up the broadcast, but I know you had a great time as well, and I appreciate you coming on.
Definitely did. And Maurice, real pleasure doing commentary along you before. Haven't done that before. I have to say it's even better than how people they describe it, and that's pretty good already. So I've had a great time, and I'm very happy that I could join this initiative. I've done this once before, and it's just incredible everything that Pontus and you are doing with chess.
Well, thank you for those kind words. Again, it's not my initiative. It is definitely GM Pontus Carlson's initiative. And I believe we have him coming on. The gentleman, the man himself. I use the word gentleman, that's a stretch. But certainly the man himself.
I don't play anymore, so now I'm definitely a gentleman.
Indeed. Pontus, I know you come on to close out the show. We want to thank you for all you've done. What did you feel about today's event? I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was really a lot of work. It's always the same, I mean, Agma, Antonio, Agad Mator, we got sick, of course. They was supposed to do the commentary with you. So in deep panic, I made some calls to my good friend Peter Svidler, for example, who happens to be one of the best chess players in the world, so which is very likely that in this kind of situations. And then, of course, two players got stranded at some airport, some flights, and some other had technical issues, and some third didn't make it even anywhere, just got stuck in some traffic line, so all these kind of things that you don't see, I have to deal with. So I'm actually happy it went through, like always, but it's tricky. It's a very, very messy type of event.
Whenever you organize events, I've been one to organize events as well. The rule is expect the unexpected.
Expect chaos. Expect chaos, and especially if you do this kind of global events, because I mean, what we are doing now is that we are merging. I don't know, is it 50 different cultures or something like this? Then of course, a time in some certain country is very important, and another one is not flexible. 5 o'clock can be from 6:30. It just can float, and so it's tricky. It's a very difficult event to organize, but a lot of fun, and I love it when it's up and running. It's really nice.
That's the key. We can talk about all the problems, or the challenges, I should say, but let's talk about the positives now. The work that you're doing is to benefit kids, and that's always a beautiful thing. Tell us, give the audience a sense of how their donation, which of course is hard earned and always generous, how it benefits the kids that you're trying to serve.
Yeah, it's in a couple of different ways, actually, because it depends a little bit on their needs as well. But of course, for all of them, it's extremely important to have internet access. And this is maybe something you take for granted in the US or in Europe or and so on, but it's not how it works in the whole world. A lot of people don't have access to internet, and then you miss out on a lot of information. Of course, a lot of bad information as well that you actually can stay out of, but a lot of serious information as well. And also chess wise, if you don't have a laptop, if you don't have internet, it's harder to prepare. I mean, you are competing with people. It's like if you're running, a race and they will start at 100 meters and they start 50 meters ahead of you. I mean, it's hard if you don't have a laptop. You can't prepare properly. So we are trying to give them tech now, like laptops and internet mainly, and then of course they also have these other issues like clothes and basic needs like food and so. But and also of course chess needs. I don't know if we count them around basic needs, but I think it's very important, to have tournament expenses, for example, Chessable courses or books. So this is what we try to give them, and chess training, of course. This is how you get better, you know, and how you're able to win tournaments and bring some glory home to the family and improve socially. I mean, you have these cases with Fiona Motesi, for example. That is really how it works. She went the whole way.
The young lady who was the subject of the movie The Queen of Katwe, you mean?
Yeah, she went the whole way, you know, like coming from the slum areas. And I mean, Tunde, for example, that was playing today, he's also the same style, you know, like coming from very poor
From Chess
conditions.
in Slums.
Yeah, coming from very poor conditions, you know, and then racing through chess, you know, in different ways, winning competitions, earning some money. And you have one guy who didn't play today, for example, Demis Hassabis. He also won his the money for his first computer. He won through in chess tournaments. You know, that's how he raised his capital to buy the first computer, and I think the rest is history.
Yeah, now he's a Nobel Prize winner in chemistry, even though he's a computer programmer, which is incredible.
Exactly, and he's leading this AI race. You know, and it's so I think chess is a really good tool how you can change your life. You know. But very important is that the kids get some help, you know, some support. And I don't know, Daniel, what producer, what are we on? We are close to $5,000, or we are how are we doing? Oh, we need to reach our goal, you know. So viewers out there, please help us to reach our 5,000 goal, so we can get some last donations there. And if we can, because we need to buy something for the winner, so we need to buy some Chessable course. I don't know if you had the chance to ask Wawa what he wants. I don't know if...
I'm sure that you'll be able to do that. You know, you talk about so much good that you are doing, and the kids need the possibilities. They just seem so vast. But I just want to say to the listeners and viewers, it doesn't take that much. It doesn't take that much. It takes so little to do so much more. And so the goal is so close. Any little you have, enough of you give, will make that 5,000 number. So please remember, donate, charity, or there's a link there as you watch on your stream. Pontus making such a difference. GM Pontus Carlson, by the way, who came out of tough circumstances himself to rise to the Grandmaster title. You're doing so much, my friend, and we really appreciate everything you continue to do. And, you know, it's funny, you talk about last minute commentators pulling out, and then you're able to pull together people as illustrious as Peter Svidler or Ellen Nilssen. You know, you always have me. And every time I see the message come in, I was like, okay, Pontus is asking me a favor. I know it's commentary. I'm a busy guy, but is it a day that I've got in my schedule? It is. The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, you like it. You enjoy helping the kids as well. So it's and also, I mean, you are the standard thing. You're always there. Like we might change the other commentators, but you are always making time in your calendar for this event. So we really appreciate it.
If I can make it, it's a pleasure. It's indeed my pleasure.
Yeah, and don't forget I mean, you also didn't have an easy life, and chess also played a big role over there when you were coming from Jamaica, for example. Not in the position where you are right now.
You know my story, and chess has absolutely transformed me, and I'm the luckiest guy on earth. I can't believe the career that I've been able to make out of this beautiful game, and to be able to make a difference to some kids. Yeah, it's beautiful. My mother was saying, "What are you going to do with chess? What is that? What is that?" And now she's so proud. I can tell you, she is so proud of everything chess has done, and she quite understands it. And it's stories like ours, I would say, a little bit of help went a long way in our lives. Definitely went a long way, and can go. That's why we know it can go a long way with these kids.
Yeah, do we need to flirt also a little bit with the chat? You know, maybe we need to offer some GM lecture. If someone can help us to get the last donations, then we will make some GM lectures So please just share your details in the chat, email or something like this, so we can reach you. And please help us to get to the 5,000. If you want
All right, folks.
some very cheap GM lectures.
Well, I'm somehow I know you're going to be giving them because after all you're a GM, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
it's a promise you can easily keep.
yeah.
And I know you got a young baby at home, so you're at home a lot. So
yeah, exactly. I have to give some local classes to her as well. So it's no, but please help us out with the last one and see if someone will pick up the gauntlet and please, we want to close the stream, but we don't want to make the kids disappointed. So help us. Like
I'm sure people will.
Yeah, like $25, for example. It's good for chess books. So and I think Wawa needs some books. I'm not 100% happy with the openings all the time.
Those were some fun games. That was absolutely some fun games.
Man. The
to be sure.
Sickest was this with the king. I can still not understand how that was a draw. When you're running over the whole board with queen, 2 rooks, and a bishop, and a pawn like on b3. Could just queen more or less in 2 moves. I mean, I don't understand how that can end up in a draw. If someone told me that position, showed me the position with the king here as a naked king running out there. I mean, it was even almost a d4 at some point. Yeah, I think it's running.
No, it was a wild. That was definitely a wild game.
Yeah,
well, I'm going to say
time is a factor.
I'm going to say thank you once again, and certainly want to thank Ellen for joining us. You were magnificent to work with. Look forward to working with you again in the future, maybe in this event. Tell us the next time this event will happen. Give us advanced notice, Pontus, because we know you're doing these all the time before we close out the show.
Yeah, exactly. The next Chess2Change is going to be next year. But we will have some individual charity tournament in autumn. So I think the next one is going to be in this September. I think, and then there will also be probably one in December as well. So in autumn, stay tuned. You can always check our website, like businessmeetschessandkids.com. And there is all the information about the upcoming events. And we should also give like a big shout out to Daniel, who has been running the show behind the scenes, and also to all the arbiters, like Kausar, that was leading the team, and Yoon, and also to everyone who has been behind the scenes there with Lishan, who has been calling a lot of shots behind the scenes, and Jovita and Ruth and Ben, the social media team. So there's been a lot of action going on, and everyone.
We want to thank your sponsor as well. We want to thank DGT.
No, we can't thank any sponsors before we have reached 5,000. we need the help, the last help. Then we'll thank them. No, I'm joking. Of course, Hans and DGT. We are very happy with this partnership that we're entering with them, which is bringing technology to areas where they previously hardly have had DGT boards, and many of theirs they have never had it nor seen it. So it's going to be very interesting to, and it's always like this when you equalize, the playing field, then a lot of kids start to thrive that wouldn't have had the chance otherwise. So I mean, you never know what would happen if you and me were stuck in somewhere in some rough areas in Colombia or in Jamaica. If we didn't move through chess, you never know what would happen. And
yes.
That's how it works. So I think it's important to help the kids.
It is important, absolutely. Anything you can give, last minute donations, or if after we get off the air, you think about it and say, you know what, let me go back to that site, as Pontus mentioned, and give a little bit. Maybe you've got some money coming in that you say, I'm going to give, I just can't give right this second. Then we really appreciate it. No donation is too small. It is going to go a long way. Well, thank you, Pontus, for all the work that you do. Once again, thank you, Ellen, for being on the show, for being such a great partner. Daniel, absolutely, for taking care of us while we did this broadcast. And I'm going to say goodbye. I'm GM Maurice Ashley. It is a cause that I try to be on for and make it my schedule every single time because I know its impact. I absolutely know and have experienced the impact of giving when one doesn't have the resources, but has the passion and the desire. And this great game of chess does indeed change lives. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
Yeah, bye. And a big shout out also to James Altoshare, who has also been crucial, of course. He's a big supporter. So big shout out to James.
Yeah, and just
Thank you, everyone.
quickly, so sorry, a huge donation. So $7,844 donated in total, reaching the goal.
Wow. Wow.
So
That's-
absolutely smashing the goal, getting up to $7,000. Incredible with the last minute donation there. Thank you so much, and thank you, Pontus, for all your great work.
That's fantastic. Big shout out to everyone who contributed. So
incredible.
we are signing off. Bye bye.
Incredible. Your generosity is amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Amazing. Goodbye.
Bye bye.